North Dakota State has returned home, and they have some new hardware with them, the 2025 Missouri Valley Football Championship. Today they'll look to finish conference play without a loss, something they haven't done since 2019. Northern Iowa comes calling. The traditional powerhouse Panthers are struggling, but can make their season with a win over the Bison. NDSU football straight ahead here on WDAY. Good afternoon, everybody, with the Buck Buchanan winner in 2014, Kyle Emanuel. I'm Dom Izzo. Sam Getzinger will join us in just a moment. Bison are back home, Kyle, after they won the Valley Championship a week ago. With a Northern Iowa team, we're not expected to see only 3 wins on the season.
Yeah, it's shocking, right? Everything that Mark Farley was able to accomplish at Northern Iowa, they were the cream of the crop in the Missouri Valley, especially you go back to my time when I was playing here. That was the team that NDSU was chasing. Now you talk to some guys, they don't even necessarily consider them a rival. It's interesting to see. I still think, I say this in any game in the Valley, but I still think if you give this Northern Iowa team some confidence, a little bit of hope to start this game, they would love nothing more than to take down NDSU here today.
Speaking of shocking, we saw Cole Payton's first subpar performance last week against the University of North Dakota through an interception for the 4th straight game. He just seems skittish to me after that pick last week.
Yeah, and look, I give a lot of credit to Eric Schmidt and UND and their defense. I think they showed us some different things. Coach Polisek talked about how he got sped up a little bit, right? Which maybe is only, I think the only other time I've heard him say it was Illinois State briefly early on in that ball game. He throws a pick early. I think, that can affect your confidence a little bit. And then, the running game was slightly clunky, got things going as well. But it wasn't quite as sharp as we're used to seeing. But as I said this morning, you almost like, was he due for one? It's hard to throw for 75% every single ball game.
Now the Bison come in. They already have the Valley Championship, the automatic bid to the postseason already locked up. But this is something not even your teams you played on in a position. They have everything done and still have 2 games to go in the regular season.
It's almost scary, right? I think a little bit it is. If I'm a coach, I'm thinking, the one thing they don't have wrapped up, in my opinion at least, is home field. If you lose these 2, which obviously they're going to be heavy favorites in both of them, but if you lose these 2, you probably don't get home field. To me, it's got to come back to improvement. It's got to come back to focus. Like I said, it's still a Valley opponent. It's still Northern Iowa. I know it's maybe not the recent history is there, but I think this is a little scary for head coach Tim Polisek and the rest of this coaching staff, and just to see how this team is going to come out and how they're going to respond after, you got South Dakota State, Youngstown State, then North Dakota. Can you come back and respond here today?
Speaking of scary, the Bison might be getting healthy. Our Sanford Orthopedics and Sports Medicine injury update. We'll talk about the corners first. Jalen Duffy has missed the last couple games after getting dinged up against Youngstown State. He's probable for today's game after dealing with a concussion. He's going to see we're wearing the Guardian cap. Will Stile will miss another game out with a hamstring for the 3rd straight game. And Victor Isley at the defensive end spot will be out as well. We saw Matt Stenbrotten get his first extended action last week.
Yeah, a couple different guys stepped up along that defensive line. I think this is always interesting. You get to this point of the year, especially how physical a ball game they just came off of. To only have 3 injuries here on the report today, you got to be pretty happy about that.
Considering the fact last week Bo Johnson left the game, Logan Kopp left the game, Darius Givens left the game. I know they all came back, but they all finished the game. That's a huge boon as well for the Bison, have those guys back in the lineup.
Yeah, I think it's one thing, like I said, you're happy about the injury report. These guys are still beat up, but that goes for both sides of both teams.
We're just getting started here on the WDAY Farmers Union Insurance Kickoff Show. We come back. The Bison set to take to the field, the coin toss, and football is ahead. Bison and the Panthers in the penultimate game of 2025. We're back to the Dome after this. Back inside Gate City Bank Field of the Fargo Dome, North Dakota State nearing the field. It's time for the Pro C Tunnel Walk. Bison out of the field, back here inside the Fargo Dome where they've won 17 consecutive games. And as the schedule sees fit in 2025, they'll play their final 2 in this building. And if they're able to take care of business, Kyle, they're not leaving Fargo for the next month and a half.
Correct, yeah, the road to Nashville now.
Yes.
Got to get used to saying that, not the road to Frisco. The road to Nashville will run through Fargo if they're able to take care of business. Personally, I think they only probably have to win one. I mean, obviously be up to debate. Again, they're going to be huge, heavy favorites in both of these. But yes, if they take care of business, they're not leaving this building until a potential trip to Nashville.
Northern Iowa on the field. The last time the Panthers won in this building, the guy to my right was a senior at Schuyler High School, Nebraska. It was 2009. The Panthers won in a game that was marred by a fight that actually began the genesis of what Kyle was talking about in our open, the rivalry between these two schools that lasted, I'd say, for the better part of 5 or 6 years, and certainly changed over the last handful of seasons. We're closing in on kickoff here inside Gate City Bank Field of the Fargo. When we come back, the coin toss, we'll hear from Sam, and we'll play some football. Panthers and the Bison are coming up on WDAY. Closing in on Northern Iowa and North Dakota State. Time to introduce the third member of our team with our first Peterson Farm Seed sideline report. Here's Sam Getzinger. Sam, good afternoon.
Hey, good afternoon, guys. You have alluded to it. Conference championship is locked up. Well, now what? Well, a lot of people think that the next goal may be the national championship, but really this group is taking a lot of pride in the fact that they can wrap up the regular season undefeated. That's something that hasn't been done in 6 years. A lot of coaches and players have told us they want to accomplish that for a very deserving senior class. Head coach Tim Polasek has told us that the next couple of weeks the focus is solely on NDSU and constant improvement leading up to the postseason. We also spoke with offensive coordinator Dan Larson earlier this week. He admitted, yeah, there was some stuff offensively left on the table in Grand Forks, but he said that this unit has been itching to get back on the field all week. And I spoke with UNI head coach Todd Stepsis, who's in his first season, spoke with him at the beginning of the game, and he said there tends to be a snowball effect throughout the year. And if they want to stay in it all 4 quarters, they have to limit that snowball. Guys?
Thanks, Sam. Here's the Kraus-Anderson coin toss.
It is ahead. You've won the toss. You guys want to decline. You want the ball correct. Which way do you want to kick? Flip around here. Northern Iowa has won the toss. They've deferred their choice to the second half. North Dakota will receive it to far end. Good luck, guys.
So North Dakota State will get the ball first as the Panthers won the toss and deferred to the second half. As you see the traditional Missouri Valley Football Conference handshake here between these two teams. Todd Stepsis is in his debut year in guiding the Panthers, a mark of 3-7. He coached the Drake Bulldogs for the last 5 years, a mark of 32 and 38 career-wise. He took Drake to the NCAA tournament the last 2 seasons, including a trip to Fargo in 2023, which the Bison won in the opening round. Tim Polasek now in the back end of his second season. Remarkable record here of 24-2. Bison, as we mentioned, have yet to lose inside this building since he's been head coach. And you heard what Sam said, something that you guys strive for, obviously, in your junior season, to finish the conference record unbeaten. That's a task in the Missouri Valley Football Conference.
Without a doubt. And, you know, I think that kind of goes hand in hand, obviously, with winning the Missouri Valley Football Conference championship. But it's a tough thing to do. I mean, you think of all the success here at North Dakota State, and there's oftentimes been a hiccup here or there. Or I mean, obviously, I experienced it a couple different times in my playing career. So it's a tough thing to do. Especially, I think they got to be really proud of the fact that they now beat every single Dakota school, but now is a chance to end your conference season undefeated. And like we said, kind of wrap up what I would call maybe the second goal is to secure home field advantage.
Good crowd here on this next to last home game of the regular season on a beautiful but chilly third Saturday in November. Selection Sunday is a week from tomorrow. We've already been scanning the scoreboards for the last couple hours of what's happened, and we'll detail that throughout our broadcast today of the mini chaos that's going on in the league, where things are starting to shake itself out and otherwise setting up next week with a couple of win and in scenarios.
Yeah, I love watching the Valley at this time. I mean, I just think there's so many teams that I would call similar. You kind of, some of them, you know, Southern Illinois, you know, they were leading South Dakota, but kind of waiting for a couple teams. Hey, you got to get that signature win. Hey, your back's against the wall. Are you going to get in? I've been really surprised with South Dakota too, the way that they've bounced back. Think about what we saw here in the Fargo Dome, Dom.
Yeah.
And the way that they've been able to bounce back. Yeah, it's good. I love this time of year. Obviously, seeing who plays their way in and who plays their way out.
Caden Pop is going to put this in the air. Redshirt sophomore. With Raja Nelson and Jackson Williams back deep. Mentioned earlier, Panthers have lost 10 games in a row. They have not beaten the Bison since 2014 in Cedar Falls. A 23-3 UNI win. That snapped NDSU's then record 33-game win streak. We're so glad you decided to spend part of your Saturday with us, as off we go with Bison football on WDAY. A shorter kick. Williams will field that. It should be Nelson at about the 10-yard line. Raja gets a cut up the field. Will cut back in. Good return from Raja Nelson as he gets out to the 37-yard line before he's brought down on the play. There's a penalty flag, though, thrown at about the 28 to maybe negate this return as you get our first look at the Bison offense.
Return. Holding. Return team, number 31. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul.
Jalen Archibald, freshman safety,
State.
called for the penalty. Keep your eyes on Bryce Lance today. He had one of his many tremendous games against Northern Iowa last year, including an unbelievable one-handed catch in the end zone. He's been shut out of the end zone the last 4 games. Not many has making plays, but he hasn't scored in 4.
Correct, and wouldn't be surprised if they get him involved here early.
So after the penalty, backs the Bison up to the 17-yard line as Barika Penu goes off the right side. Good run for the West Fargo product as he gets out to the 22 and a gain of 5 as you meet the Northern Iowa defense, which is not what it used to be. Owen Ostrowski is a guy to keep your eyes on at the defensive end. Transfer from Tulsa. The Bison actually were trying to recruit him out of the portal. He chose Northern Iowa and has been one of their best players up front. Tucker Langenberg, one of their leading tacklers, 92 on the season next to Ryan Crandall, who's got 91. Keep your eyes on Joe Hall III in the back end for the Panthers. It was a gain of 5 on first down. Back to Penu. Nice cut there on a first down, and then some for Penu, who throws the shoulder on his way out of bounds. He gave that to Joe Hall III, and he picked up a first down.
Well, I think if you're curious of how NDSU was going to react to starting this game, and we talked about the Missouri Valley, I think Brigham Penu showed you right there. I mean, that's exactly how you want to finish a run. That's what you want your running backs doing. Fans don't want to see him step out of bounds. They want to see running backs finish runs like this, and I think Brigham Penu, he's ready to roll.
That's a gain of 16 for Barika. Puts it out to the 38-yard line. Peyton will roll out here on first down. Floats one. That's caught. Guess who? Bryce Lance out of bounds at the UNI 44.
It's such a well-designed play. You're going to put someone in the flat. You see tight end in the flat, and then you just fit Bryce Lance right behind the coverage. So you put the tight end right in front of the corner. So that's what he sees. That's where he wants to go. And so often it's so tough for a defender. You got to be able to try and stay deep. They don't. Bryce Lance comes up with his first big catch.
Just a ho-hum gain of 18 on his 40th reception of the year. As the Bison now into the Panthers side of the field. They'll go to work from the 44. Peyton with a design run. Look at the hole. Running behind Griffin Empey, and he's wrapped up. Ryan Crandall was in on the stop. The Iowa transfer, Western Illinois transfer comes up with the play.
Yeah, good job here by Crandall, because you're right, Dom. This looked like there was going to be potentially more. I like the design, kind of a power play coming back to Cole Payton's left. He faked a quick little screen to the right, but Crandall did a nice job of cutting that down.
I was going to say, if Empey goes to the left, that is not a match that Crandall wants with Griffin Empey coming down on you. But still got 6 to the Panther 38. Makai Collins goes in motion. This is Penu. Boy, he somehow slithered through. The Panthers got a couple guys to break through. He's able to get a couple before he's brought down. Aiden Miller was in on the stop. It's going to be third down.
And I think that's Jalen Pettis. Couldn't catch the number, but a nice job of getting some penetration in the backfield. Didn't see that on the first 2 runs there from Brigham Penu to kind of slow him down and give themselves a chance to get off the field here.
Saw last week the Bison only converted 2 third downs out of 12 in what was just an offensive slog in the game in Grand Forks, something that Tim Polasek hammered on this entire week, but they have to be better at. Here's Penu. He's got a first down, dragging a couple of guys with him. Crandall went for the ride there before he's brought down. That's going to be a first down and a gain of 5.
Well, and you're right, and this has had to be the biggest point of emphasis for NDSU. Actually won that game, as you mentioned, just 2 of 12 on third down. I mean, it's a ball game you don't win very often when you're when you're that low in third down percentage. But a nice job there with the pin pull and get Brigham Penu past the chains.
Well, it just felt like the Bison offense was barely on the field in the game last week, and it turned out stat-wise it certainly was the case. But they made the plays they absolutely had to win the game. From the 31, Peyton into the flat for DJ Scott. Scott cuts back. He gets down inside the 15. They'll mark him at the 14 and a gain of 17.
And you see Northern Iowa brings the house here. Watch how many guys come here on the pressure, and everyone forgets about DJ Scott. That's the one guy, when you bring that many players, there's almost always someone, I'll call it hot, right, defensively. If the back releases, because you're expecting the back to stay, and if the back releases, someone's got to go with him, and no one did.
Scott's 4th reception of the season brings the Bison into the red zone here with a first down at the Panther 14, opening drive of the game. Peyton gave that off to Nelson. Boy, that was a delayed handoff there. Crandall gets another tackle. As Nelson gets a couple down to the 12.
Yeah, Northern Iowa ready for this one. We talk about Raja Nelson, what a weapon he can be offensively, trying to get him involved early, get him to the outside. Northern Iowa ready for that one.
Second down here. Ball spotted at the Northern Iowa 12. 5 minutes gone, just underway. Payton surveys, now he'll keep it, turns on the Jets, just got tripped up. They're gonna mark him down at the 1-yard line on the tackle. Tucker Langenberg got him by the shoestrings.
Yeah, trying the bootleg here, and then a man-to-man coverage, and again, Cole Payton, how many times have we talked about that? Your eyes are glued to your guy, and just a couple of Northern Iowa defenders came off, but it was just a little bit too late, and at that point, Cole Payton was already down to the 1-yard line.
This was another area last week. The Bison did not perform well in the red zone. They had to settle for 3 field goals before the Payton touchdown. Penu to the outside, now cuts back in, touchdown! North Dakota State, number 16 for Barika Penu.
He just continues to find way. He just has a nose for the end zone, and this is a great example of. You can see him right here. He's just going to stretch it as long as he possibly can, and then again find that vertical cutback. And you're right, Dom. We talked about they struggled with third downs last week. They got a conversion there. They struggled in the red zone. Northern Iowa actually really good in the red zone defensively, and they got it done there as well and got into the end zone.
That was about as efficient as you can be, Kyle, at an opening drive. Ozick bangs home the extra point, and the Bison offer an authoritative statement to start. 9:17 to go, opening quarter. Barika Penu finds the land of 6. It's 7-0 Bison. Bison football is brought to you by Shields, a proud partner of Bison Athletics. North Dakota State takes the opening drive on the Farmers Union Insurance scoring recap. 10 plays, 83 yards, 5:34 off the clock. Barika Penu's 16th rushing touchdown of the season makes this a 7-0 Bison lead. That was a clinic, Kyle.
Yeah, and they did exactly what they needed to do. Only needed 2 passes to get it done as well, and I really liked the one of Cole Payton recognizing the pressure, got it out quickly to DJ Scott, and then after that it was really the Barika Penu show.
Ozick will drill another one through the end zone for a touchback as the Northern Iowa offense will come on the field. First, a word from the Bank of North Dakota.
Bank of North Dakota wants you to be confident with your student loan decisions. Before applying for a Federal Plus or private student loan, compare all of the benefits and terms with B&D's student loans. Visit bnd.nd.gov/confident.
So here comes the Northern Iowa offense out of the field with a new quarterback that they changed over last week. Jackson Daly will be the guy. As you look at the starting lineup, keep your eye on number 1, Bill Jackson is the reigning Valley Offensive Player of the Week. He had 3 touchdowns last week against Murray State as he gets the call here on first down. Wrapped up by Logan Kopp as you meet the Bison defense, which no changes up front. That defensive line has been so good. Toby Anane with 2 sacks last week in the win over UND. Jackson Duteneffer back in his second game. Donovan Woolen had 18 tackles. Not Grant Olson-esque, but 18 still pretty darn good in the win last week over UND. And keep your eyes on Jaquise Alexander. We mentioned him in Bison Game Day. He has 6 PBUs to lead the team. Daly wants the deep ball down the field and incomplete. Overshot his man. Had Aiden Price, but too far.
Oh, he had exactly what he wanted, and I like it to get up to the line of scrimmage and they go quick and kind of fake a little toss, and he has guys streaking down the field. Dalen Eady basically has 2 guys that he has to cover right there. I think if this one's put, again, a little bit more on a line, kind of just floated this way too much. Put that on the line, maybe it's not a touchdown, but you probably got a 20-25 yard gain.
Now Daly replaced Matthew Sheckelman as the quarterback 2 games ago. Transferred in from Arkansas State. 4 touchdowns, 3 interceptions on the air as you look at our First Western Bank down in distance on a 3rd and 6. Daly wants the deep ball, nearly intercepted at the feet of Eady, and that's a quick 3 and out for UNI.
Yeah, and guess who's in coverage? I believe that was Donovan Woolen, number 1. We just talked about he had 18 tackles a week ago, and he can also do some things in coverage.
Yep.
Again, right there, you see that. It's just all over. It basically makes that an impossible throw for Daly to try to fit in.
Noah Pettinger comes in, the senior, one of the larger punters you'll ever see, Kyle. It's 6'4", 224. He play linebacker at that size. Williams back at his own 30. End over end kick that Williams gets a head start at the 34, shakes off a guy, and then wrapped up. John Powers, number 33, in on the tackle for Northern Iowa. Timeout. 8:24 to go. Opening quarter. 7-0 home team. Bison football is brought to you by Sanford Health. We deliver exceptional health care here for all, here for good. Sanford Health. Northern Iowa had the ball for approximately 35 seconds there as they go 3 and out. Bison with some great field position after the Williams return from the 45 as Payton into the flat for Barika Penu. Look at the running room here. What a cut. Now back across the grain for Penu. Still dragging a guy all the way to the 30-yard line. That's a gain of 25.
Well, and it's very similar to what we saw earlier to DJ Scott. They bring pressure and they use motion, so Cole Payton knows exactly what he's getting. He knows this is man-to-man. He knows that no one is obviously running to the flat with Barika Penu, and then a nice cut right there, as you mentioned, Dom, back against the grain, and a huge play to get this drive started.
Interesting to see the running backs getting involved in the passing game to start this game.
And I like it. Again, you're going to bring pressure. No one's going to run with them. Just keep releasing them and keep dumping it off.
Now from the UNI 30. Already leading 7-0. Back to the other side, and Nelson gets blown up on that play. Good tackle in the backfield. Jonathan Cabral-Martin makes the play.
I believe that is the 6-7 celebration.
Yes.
At least that's what the young kids tell me. Nice job there by Cabral-Martin. Understanding again, it looks like everything's going away from him. He was all over that. I know there's some kids watching that are excited about that one.
And my little man, if he sees that, he's going to go nuts.
I actually had to call my nephew and ask him what that
Same
meant.
here. We did a basketball game earlier this week. Crowd went nuts when they got to 67 for the Bison. Loss of 4 on the reception. It's 2nd and 14. Penu here into a pile. Good job by UNI to swarm on that one. Tackle was made by Calvin Jaworski, and it's going to be 3rd and long.
Yeah, we talked about it off the top. You know, this Northern Iowa team obviously have struggled, but it's really been on the offensive side of the ball. They're ranked 4th in the Valley defensively. Have been pretty good in the red zone as well. Obviously, it didn't look like that in that opening drive, but this is a defense that will give you some problems at times.
It's just a different look defensive line. When you played, they had some, Xavier Williams comes to mind, just some unbelievable NFL guys that were playing on the defensive line. Not the caliber of players they have now. On 3rd and 13, Payton sings it to Bryce Lance. He'll try to cut back up the field. He's going to be short of the 1st down. They'll mark him out officially at the 23. It's going to be 4th and 3.
Well, and trying that little stop route that they've done so many times. And this is a good job of Cole Payton of putting it away from him. Unfortunately, it leads him away from the sticks, but looks like Tim Polisek's going to roll the dice here, and he's going to keep his offense out on the field.
Confidence in the Owl to stay on and get a 1st down. From the Panther 23-yard line, under 6 minutes to go in the opening quarter. 3 receivers bunched to the bottom. Now Lance goes in motion. Down to 4 on the play clock here. Got a timeout taken right before the snap. I don't know if they got that one off. There were some communication issues down there on what they wanted to do.
This is their first charge timeout of the half.
Or if they wanted to wait it out, then maybe kick a field goal here.
Yeah, it didn't look like that was going to be one. Obviously, they didn't even fake the snap. It looked like some confusion maybe right off the bat. They went trips to the bottom of your screen, right? It looked like there was some confusion there. Who's going to line up? Bryce Lance then goes in motion. Cole Payton's now trying to check it. Just never looked like they were quite comfortable. Probably a good time out there from Coach Polisek, especially on a key 4th down play.
So we'll see what happens here on 4th down. There's Raja Nelson. Record-setting game today here, Kyle. He's playing in his 73rd game, tying Braylon Henderson's mark, which he broke the record of Jaden Price the year before, who broke the record of Nash Jensen, who broke the record of Cordell Volson. I remember when you had that, when you played.
61 seemed like a lot back in the day, and then obviously COVID happened, and these are records probably never going to be broken.
No, Raj is going to have that one.
Once you get past guys in the COVID year, those are records that you're just never going to have the opportunity to even try and catch them.
All right, Bison offense back on the field after the timeout. 4th and 3 with Lance and Nelson to the bottom of your screen. Penu the tailback. Payton thrown down and a sack. That's Ostrowski who came through and makes the play. A big one for the UNI defense.
It's exactly what Todd Stepsis is looking for. Someone to come up and step up, make a big-time play, shift some momentum. Let's right there at the bottom of your screen. Just a great job. You see Nate Tossick kind of ducks his head just a little bit. It almost looked like they forgot about him, but no, he just made an unbelievable move, kind of faked the power rush there. Quick swim move, and he was in the backfield before Cole Payton could even get anything looked at downfield.
His 4th sack of the season. The Tulsa transfer comes up with a big play and turned the Bison over on downs. So now Northern Iowa back to the field here as they try to stretch it out, as Staling has that one sniffed. J.C. Roquet had nowhere to go.
You're exactly right here, Don. Watch 52 right there. I mean, he is all over this. A nice job there. I always like to point out to the edge of the defense, right? If Jaquise Alexander, number 0, isn't there, that ball can continue to stretch. Instead, Roquet has to cut it back right into the waiting arms of Nathaniel Staling. Nice job there by 52.
Already a 6th TFL this season. That's a huge loss, Kyle. Loss of 7. Makes it 2nd and 17. Price went in motion. They'll give it here on the ground. Short carry there, not much. Harrison Bay-Bowie got the carry.
And it's a team that obviously haven't had a ton of success. That they get their first Valley Conference win a week ago because they were able to run the football and really kind of stay ahead of the chains. And obviously a loss of 7 or 8 on first down, that obviously doesn't help that. But they didn't really ask Jackson Daly to do a whole lot last week. He threw the ball 11 times. He was efficient, 8 for 11. But this is not the area of the field where you want to put your quarterback in 3rd and long.
Bay-Bowie got 2. It's 3rd and 15. Jackson is back in as the tailback. Bison may be coming here. Woolen straight up the gut. They pick it up. Daly, though. Down he goes. No. Boy, they swarm. Keenan Wilson was there. Kopp was there initially. And it's going to be 4th down.
Well, and it's a good job initially by Northern Iowa, like you said, Don, picking up the pressure, kind of bluff Nathaniel Staling. They bring Woolen. He has time there for a second, and then Keenan Wilson gets his hands on him. Unfortunately for Keenan, I don't think that one's going to go down as a half sack. He broke away, but a good job by NDSU of rallying to the football.
So Pop will punt for the 2nd time. And another quick 3 and out for the Panthers. Williams gets ahead of steam here at the 31. Jackson Williams tries to get to the open field, to the outside. Can he beat the punter? One man to beat. Down the sideline, finally brought down. Pettinger, the punter, was the one to tackle him. There's a penalty flag down at the 6-yard line.
Well, you just said Pettinger was 220, 6'4", 220. Yeah. I think showed it right there, but I think this penalty is going to go against him. I think this might be a horse collar, especially you're thinking if this is a hold, this is usually thrown way back.
You're right.
Towards midfield, right where Jackson Williams caught the football.
I thought the way he went down, Kyle, looked like.
Yeah. Here we go.
During the return, personal foul, horse collar tackle, kicking team, number 91. That penalty being enforced half the distance to the goal. 1st down, North Dakota State.
Greg Gompf called the penalty there as he's our referee today. Let's get another look at it here, Kyle.
Well, it's a good job by Pettinger of taking him down, or at least running him down.
Yeah, right there.
You can see it's actually his right hand. His left hand looked like it was fine, but you could see, watch the right hand on the back. Now, to me, it looked like it was more in the middle of the back, but the way he went down, I think that's why the flag came out.
So Bison are back here to the ready red zone with the penalty now. It is at the 5-yard line. And it's 1st and goal. Peyton cuts back in. Touchdown, North Dakota State. His 12th rushing touchdown of the year.
I talked about Barika Penu, nose for the end zone. Obviously, Cole Payton has that as well. I think, the +1 run game, it's just so tough to defend when you get down this end of the field, that close to the goal line. Take a look again. Cole Payton, a nice cut right about there. And he's just bouncing off defenders. It's a big athlete to try and bring down when he only needs about 4 yards and has a head of steam.
He's also bouncing off his right tackle off Josh Mangan there as he got into the end zone. All set up by the Williams punt return. Ozick in to bang this through. What a start here for North Dakota State. Took the opening drive in for a touchdown. 2nd drive got stopped on downs. Big punt return. As the extra point up and good from Ozick. 3:06 remaining 1st quarter. The Bison blazing out of the gates here. Up 14-0. Back here inside the dome, 14-0 North Dakota State after the punt return from Jackson Williams of 58 yards. Cole Payton, one play, 5 yards, all of 5 seconds on the Farmers Union Insurance scoring recap. 14-0 Bison here with 3:06 to go. I'd say the defense is an A+ here with 6 plays out there so far. Well, there's another touchback from Eli Ozick. He's racking them up here in 2025. And this is what Todd Stepsis was talking to Sam about, just avalanche happening in the first quarter, and it's happening here again.
Well, and that's where I thought that sack by Ostrowski was so big, because it looked like NDSU was driving again. They get the stop on 4th down. It was like, okay, you stopped the snowball, right? You stopped it in its tracks, and then the offense goes 3 and out. This NDSU defense looks like it's kind of picked up right where it left off a week ago against UND, playing lights out. -1 yard so far for Northern Iowa.
Not ideal. As you look at our First Western Bank down in distance, Daly over the middle. That's a reception there as Stanley comes up with a tackle. Anderson, the tight end, picks up the catch, and a UNI badly needed first down.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I was going to say. You just got to get your quarterback going at this point. Again, you had negative yards coming into this drive. You just want a quick, easy completion. Found some man-to-man. He put the ball exactly where it needed to be. Now you finally get a little bit momentum if you're Northern Iowa in this offense.
Anderson, one of the few players that played in this game last year. The toss to Jackson, and maybe a yard. Larson was in there along with Shadimi Alfaro.
Well, this is basically the exact same play we saw where they had a tight end streaking wide open down the middle of the field, except for this time they actually toss it before they fake the toss. And NDSU was ready for it. Again, we talked about this in pregame as well, these corners coming up and really doing a nice job in run support.
Again, the Bison defense on the field for 81 plays last week in the win at North Dakota. There's a gain of officially 2. 2nd and 8 for Daly. Zings this one on a slant. That one hauled in by Roque. They'll mark him down to the 42 and a gain of 5.
Again, just needed something to get going, right? You see Donovan Woolen coming off the edge there, so you understand his pressure. Understand I'm probably not going to have any underneath coverage there in the middle. Identifies that. That's a nice shot there from Jackson Daly. Getting to his favorite receiver.
Roque with 48 receptions now on the year. Here's a 3rd and 3. Northern Iowa 0 for 2 to start the game. Daly under pressure. That ball's loose. That's a fumble, and Roque will scoop it up at the 36 as that pocket just completely collapsed.
Yeah, Toby Anene right off the edge. See 93 coming from the right side of your screen, and he basically beat his guy clean, and that is textbook. Once again, gets a right hand to try to secure the tackle. Left hand goes up for the football. It does an unbelievable job. It doesn't matter if the quarterback goes down. That goes down as a sack fumble. Nice play there by Toby Anene.
Well, the only thing different on that drive, Northern Iowa got 1 first down, but again, they punt. So we're down to the final 30 seconds of the quarter. As Pettinger booms this one. Williams will fair catch that. Nearly got run into. And a late penalty flag has just been thrown. Gores was down there in coverage, joined by Cabral Martin.
And this is going to be interesting. I actually think they might throw this on Jackson Williams. You see right after that play, kind of toss the ball right at the Northern Iowa defender. I don't think you can call this on the Panthers because you make the argument you're getting blocked into the returner, right?
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, North Dakota State, number 18.
There you go.
That penalty be enforced half the distance to the goal. It'll be first down, North Dakota State.
Spot on, Kyle. Let's take another look.
Number 18's first unsportsmanlike conduct towards disqualification.
And I understand he's upset about it right there. You just can't do that. I'm gonna call that every single time. Jackson Williams doesn't know what's happening. He just, he just feels the contact, but obviously he can't throw the ball at the defender.
So that'll push the Bison back to their own 9-yard line here with half a minute left in this opening quarter. Good eyes on that. I didn't pick that up right away. Bison already with 110 total yards of offense. As they'll keep this on the ground, and Penu met and sent backwards. Isaiah Pinks comes up with a TFL.
When watch 44, Malik Stewart, see him coming underneath right there, working on Josh Mangan. He was the one that really made this play for the Northern Iowa defense, right again in the backfield, basically immediately before Barika Penu could even do anything.
It's a couple of TFLs from Northern Iowa here in this opening quarter. That will do it for what's been an explosive start for the Bison back here at home. At the end of one, it's North Dakota State 14, Northern Iowa nothing. Second quarter is coming up. You're watching Bison football on WDAY. Back here inside Gate City Bank Field at the Fargo Dome, 14-0. North Dakota State with a lead after one on Northern Iowa. Back with Kyle Emanuel, Sam Getzinger, our very tired but great crew. I'm Dom Izzo on a second down and 11. Here's Peyton under pressure. That's going to be a safety in the end zone. Tackled down. Caleb Frazier comes up with a play, and Northern Iowa's on the board.
How about that in a way to get on the board? Good job there by Frazier of just understanding, kind of being slow, and then Cole Payton probably just tries to do too much, trying to escape. Maybe doesn't realize where he's at on the field, but this is one you just got to throw away. Or if anything, you got to go forward. You can't go backwards trying to escape with the spin move, and Frazier's all over it. And how about that? Told you this Northern Iowa.
Yeah.
I mean, again, we've seen them in the backfield a couple of times now, and obviously that's the biggest of them all.
From Kimberly, Wisconsin. You know that town very well. That's Colton Heagle's hometown, the Papermakers. That's the second safety as you look. Bruce Pyatt, doctor's looking at Cole Payton here after that play. The second safety the Bison have given up this season. Of course, Barika Penu got tackled in the end zone in the game at Illinois State. Looked like they were giving Cole, him and Trish Shannon were over there to give the quick once-over, make sure he's all right.
Right, yeah, that's obviously got to be a little bit of a concern if you're a Bison fan looking at this. Now he's over talking to the other quarterbacks. Look like he might be all right, but yeah, unbelievable play there by Frazier to get, again, when Northern Iowa looked like they're kind of left for dead here, and now get the ball back.
That's
and get
twice through. They've sacked Payton in this game. Obviously, Ostrowski had that huge play on 4th down. So now Ozick will kick from the 20 and be returned from the 10-yard line. Roquet nicely defended out of bounds. Keegan Huber, of course, was the special teams hero a couple weeks ago, comes up with the play as the Panthers some decent field position, Kyle, at the 30-yard line.
Yeah, good field position, a little bit of momentum, and now stating the obvious, right? You got to get something going, a little bit more than just one first down. Give your defense a little bit of a break, see if they can get their running game going. That's really kind of where they haven't been able to do anything. Maybe even utilize Jackson Daly's legs. We haven't seen that much today either.
Harrison Bay-Bowie is the back. He'll get it here on 1st down. Broke through that first pile. Good run as he gets out to the 36. We'll check in downstairs with Sam.
Well, we've seen a dominant stretch of football by Toby and Nene over the last couple of weeks, but defensive coordinator Grant Olson says that he still believes that there's another gear, another level that he can reach to become an all-around really good player. He told us that Toby reminds him of a young Kyle Emanuel in his junior year of college, just right there on the cusp of becoming an All-American guy.
What do you make of that?
I don't know if he's joking or not.
No, I heard him say it. Back to Bay-Bowie here on 2nd down. Good run, churning those legs forward, and he gets out to the 45 and gains 9.
Yeah, great job here by Bay-Bowie. Back-to-back plays here, kind of just pushing the pile, bringing defenders with him. Saw this a couple of times last week against North Dakota. You see Donovan Woolen, the first guy in there, and then he just continues to churn the legs. Gotta apologize, Sam. I just assume anytime he brings up my name, it's a backhanded diss, not necessarily a compliment, but
well, I remember your junior year, you were still splitting time up there, and then obviously things really blossomed your senior year. I think Toby's maybe in that same progression line. Daly will fling this to the outside. Hauled in on the reception. Ian Collins with his first catch of the game, where Edey brought him down out of the Bison side of the field to the 48.
Well, it's a great job here by Collins, 84. Again, you get one-on-one situation. It's a tough tackle for Edey, but you got to make at least one guy miss right there. Trying to turn that, from a 2 or 3 yard gain into 7 or 8. Set yourself up, and now we're seeing a little bit of momentum here from this Panther offense.
Collins, a transfer in from the University of Iowa. UNI has a handful of those on their roster. 2nd down and 3. Just underway here in the 2nd quarter. Panthers with the ball after getting a safety on the Bison. Bay-Bowie ran into Alexander, slowed him down. Looks like Elijah Wayne in on the stop. Good enough, though, for a 1st down.
Yeah, nice job here by Keenan Wilson. You see 58. He has a nice swim move on the outside, but it's just not enough. Can't get to Bay-Bowie in time to try and bring him down before he was able to move the chains. Gotta like what you're seeing here from Bay-Bowie. Obviously, we've talked about Bill Jackson, the reigning Valley Offensive Player of the Week. Nice little thunder and lightning with those 2 running backs.
New set of downs for the Panthers. At the Bison 45. Here's Jackson, a little change up here. Brought down on the play. Logan Larson in there on the tackle to the 43-yard line, a gain of 2.
Well, it's a good job here by Logan Larson of fighting through a double team. You can see it right there. He's getting pushed out, and nice job of just not giving up on the play. I thought they might have had something there. You saw a couple Bison defenders fly upfield defensively. That's when you can kind of create some seams and some gaps. Now, NDC's always allowed their defensive line to be aggressive, but good job there by Logan Larson.
On 2nd and 8, Daly, that one batted down and nearly intercepted. Alexander and Staling were in the area as he was trying to get that to Kershaw.
Well, it's a tight window. He's tring to get it there. Nice job right there. Yeah, Donovan Woolen. And then, of course, that ball is that ball's tipped. Now Jaquise Alexander can't get called for any type of defensive pass interference, but he was all over Kershaw right there and would have made a tough completion.
Already seen Jaquise make a play on his stomach for a pick earlier this season against Southeast Missouri State.
I still don't know how he caught that one. I'll never understand it.
Here's a 3rd and 8. Panthers are 0 for 3 so far on 3rd downs. Bison crowd into it for the first time. Daly trying to go off the right side, met there and driven back. And it's going to be 4th down. That was Darius Givens in there on the tackle.
Well, unbelievable fill here by Darius Givens. And it's interesting formation there. He kind of went with the big formation. We see the fill right here, and that is exactly what a form tackle looks like for a safety to come up. But, yeah, Steps is going to roll the dice.
Well, you're 3 and 7. I mean, what do you got to lose, right?
Especially, we talked about it ad nauseum, Dom. You get this part of the field, I think it makes the decision that much easier. A punt doesn't gain you much.
5 wide receivers, empty backfield. Roque in motion. Oh, movement there on the left side. That looked like Blake Anderson, the left tackle.
False start. Offense, number 65.
Indeed it is.
5-yard penalty.
Yeah.
4th down.
And that changes your whole decision then.
Well, yeah, exactly. Right after this happens, take a look at the sideline, and I already see Todd Steps is going over to his punt team and kind of sending them out there. You're exactly right. Obviously, you feel good with 4th and 5. Now you get 4th 10, 4th and 11. Changes your whole game plan.
So another punt from Pettinger, whose biggest play in the game was tackling Jackson Williams to prevent him from another punt return touchdown. Almost from midfield here to see if he can pin the Bison. Williams will catch this at the 11-yard line, and that's where the Bison will take over. Timeout on the field. 10:30 to go in the first half. North Dakota State leads it 14-2. Bison football is brought to you by Shields. Be sure to stop by Shields for all your hunting needs this fall. Out of the punt by Pettinger, the Bison offense will start at its 13-yard line. A little clunky after that opening drive, Kyle. We'll see what happens for the offense. DJ Scott gets the carry here on first down. Gets about 3. Ball squirts loose. Marked him down to the 16.
Well, yeah, you're right. I think you've just seen a couple different times Panther defenders in the backfield. Now, this one's not going to technically go for a loss, but a nice job of swarming by this Panther defense. But, yeah, we've seen it Probably, 3 at least off the top of my head. Obviously capped off by the safety where you've just too many negative plays for NDSU offensively. Obviously, they've done some good things as well to get 14 on the board.
Gain of 3. Makes it a 2nd down and 7. Scott had a hole here on the right side. DJ running hard out to the 24-yard line before he's brought down to the play. Pinks again on the tackle, but not before a Bison first down.
Well, again, watch 44 right here for Northern Iowa. He gets off of his block, and the hole looked like it's closing down. Nice job there by DJ Scott of shaking off the first tackler, getting to that second level, moving the chains.
And again, for you eagle-eyed viewers, true freshman Ryan Babbitts is in the game at left tackle, moving Bo Johnson inside to left guard. We've seen this since the South Dakota State game.
Yeah, every single game we've seen him getting there. Obviously, the coaches really like what they've seen so far in film.
Fake here to Scott. Peyton wants the home run ball to Bryce Lance. He's got him. Lance down all the way to the 25-yard line. There's the home run hitter.
I'm a little surprised this actually wasn't called pass interference, but I thought a nice job here by Bryce Lance to fight through some contact. A good job by the offensive line. Look how much time Cole Payton has back there. And then again, it's just kind of, well, 5's down there somewhere. I'm just going to throw it up and let him run underneath it.
That's a gain of 51 for the Marshall, Minnesota native. On first down, here's Mekhi Collins trying to make us move. Wrapped up. Pinks did a good job on that tackle as he brings him down to the 16.
No, you're right. This is a nice sudden move here by Mekhi Collins. As soon as he catches the ball, you see the nice little jump cut. Watch this. And I think this is a really good job by Pinks of just hanging on, because if not, 15 might be trotting into the end zone.
It's a gain of 9 as the Bison are back into the red zone here, leading 14-2. And moving again, 3 receivers to the top of the screen. DJ Scott goes off the right side. Going to be close to that first down mark.
Well, and we see Northern Iowa kind of committing to the run, right? I think after that first drive there, they understood the assignment. We can't let, obviously with the danger of Cole Payton and Bryce Lance and what they can do throwing the ball, we can't let them also run the ball. And it looks like, at least on this drive, they're trying to commit a little bit more to the run, but obviously that opens you up and makes it susceptible to a big play.
They officially say no gain on the play, so it's going to be 3rd and 1 again from the 16. Back to Scott. Met there. Try to drive forward. Scoville was the first to hit him, number 31. Depends on the spot here. They're going to say it's 4th down.
Yeah, the fist up in the air. That's going to be 4th down. And a nice little switch up here. Now they're trying to go a little C-gap power, it looks like. But you see that hole is filled immediately by Panthers defenders. Nice job of hanging on there and forcing NDSU into yet another 4th down.
Okay, Bison are staying on the field again. Remember, they were denied the first time on 4th down. That's when Ostrowski sacked Peyton. 4th and 1 from the 16. Again to Scott, trying to leap forward, and they'll get it this time. They'll mark him at the 14 and a gain of 2.
Yeah, and here you see it's essentially, it's almost like a quarterback sneak. Watch all the offensive linemen. They just all cave down. You're just going to block down. It's almost like a zone play, but everyone's just blocking down, trying to wedge up in there. You're just trying to get DJ Scott just half a yard.
What is that like as a defensive lineman? We used to play that.
Well, it's fun, right? That's one way to describe it. I mean, it's tough. Obviously, first thing you got to do as a defender, you got to shed your blocker, but it gets so tough. There's just so much, it's just a mass of humanity down there.
New set of downs for the Bison at the Panther 14. Peyton surveys, wide open, Bryce Lance, touchdown, North Dakota State, back in the end zone, 9-5.
Great play call and design here from Dan Larson. They go short motor. You see Bryce Lance at the bottom of your screen right here, and then they go crossing routes, and everyone just gets lost. Again, crossing routes so tough against man-to-man coverage. They identified the coverage, saw it was going to be man-to-man. You use the crossers from the left side to clear it out, and there's just no one left for Bryce Lance.
Well, the touchdown streak is over. That's his 5th of the year, ends the streak of 4 games without a touchdown. Extra point nailed from Ozick. Timeout on the field. 5:57 to go in the first half. Cole Payton to Bryce Lance for the 5th time this season. Makes it 21-2, Bison. (21-2), North Dakota State with the lead. Look at our Farmers Union Insurance scoring recap. 8 plays, 87 yards. They go 4.5 minutes. Cole Payton to Bryce Lance on a 14-yard touchdown. Lance's 5th receiving touchdown of the year makes this now a 19-point Bison lead. As Ozick drills another one, added to the pile of touchbacks, as you and I will start at the 25-yard line. Timeout, 5:57 to go in the first half. Panthers with the ball and down 19. (5:57 to go in the first half. Bison up 21-2. I had this question tweeted at me during the break of how many touchbacks Ozick has on the season now, Kyle, up to 44 on the year. I know you were wondering. On first down, not much happening there. Donovan Woolen flies in to make the tackle. You saw the disparity in yards. Frankly, Northern Iowa, this might sound crazy, is in the game because of its defense. And how they've been able to stick around here.
Yeah, 100%, right? They've come up with a couple big plays. Offense is just unable to sustain some drives. Obviously not got the run game going a little bit. They blew the previous drive, but something they're going to have to try to continue and find some consistency there.
This is a work in progress. Obviously, Top Stetsis in year one has got some work to do. Roque got by Anene. He'll get to the outside before he's pushed out of bounds. Shadimi Alfaro is over there, and it's going to be third down and long.
Yeah, and we saw this last week too. You just allow your defensive end to fly upfield here. So you see Toby Nada, he misses it initially, but then again, we talked about missed tackles. How do you combat that? You get multiple guys to the football. You can see he gets around the edge, but multiple yellow jerseys right around the football to bring it up third and long.
He's been flying. The last 3 games, he's just, I think, been unblockable on the edge.
Found that different gear.
Yep.
I think that Coach Grant Olson was talking about.
Here's a third down and 8. Panthers still looking to convert for the first time on third down. Daly under pressure, spins out of that. Now will sling it, and it's incomplete. Trying to go down the field, looking for Anderson, his tight end. And it's going to be fourth down. He's pretty close to the line of scrimmage, I thought,
yeah,
there,
I thought so too. Give him a lot of credit, though, to see the step and the spin out. That's one of the toughest things for a defender to try and pick up. Yeah, I think he was fine. I think he was behind the line of scrimmage, but he was behind the sticks there. But, yeah, unable to deliver a catchable ball.
Pettinger in for another punt. Jackson Williams hovering at about the 31-yard line. Good kick here. Williams will be back to the 25-yard line. Cuts back up the field. Stays on his feet. Brought all the way down to the Bison side of the field before he's brought down to the play. Jaworski made the tackle for UNI, and some great field position for the Bison as they come out on the field. Here's a word from Shields.
Okay, scrapers in the car, winter tires are on, shovels are good to go. But the kids need new jackets. Good thing there's Shields.com.
Shields.com. Anytime, anywhere.
Boy, it just seems like Williams is just ready to burst at any time right now.
Well, I was just thinking, I mean, you got to start kicking it away from him. I know it's easier said than done, right? Because at the same time, you don't just want to kick one 20 yards out of bounds, but he is just such a weapon, and you can tell he's feeling it here today.
From the UNI 41. Here's Penu. Gets to the outside, and Barica pushed out of bounds, but not before he got 10. They'll mark him out officially at the 30-yard line and a gain of 11.
Yeah, it's a great read here by Penu, because initially this is one where if you stretch it and it's not there, right, you get too many guys on the outside, and that thing's going for a loss. But a nice job of using his speed, finding just a sliver of a lane there on the outside, and a nice gain.
Under 4 minutes to go in the half. Peyton incomplete, trying to hit Carson Williams there. Let's check in with Sam.
Well, while the Bison offense was off the field, the gauntlet has been laid down to the offensive line by position coach Dylan Chimura. He told his group that they just simply have to play with more urgency and that they make the choice in this game. They can settle for 2-yard rushes, or they can choose to be dominant at that position. And he said if they're not able to make adjustments, well, then it's next man up.
You can see that again. Now Bo Johnson playing right tackle, Kyle, with Babbitts at left tackle. Tossed it back in the game at left guard. So some movement up front. On 2nd and 10. Peyton, look at the room here. Makes a cut, and he's brought down. Pinks on the tackle. Gets to the 21-yard line.
And this is why you got to be cautious when you bring pressure against Cole Peyton, especially, again, how many times have I said this? Man eyes. There's every Panther defender has their eyes on their man, and it creates a seam for Cole Peyton to get to that next level.
Be 3rd and 1. They'll throw. A little miscommunication there as Bryce did not break off. And it's going to be 4th down.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Cole Payton's expecting Bryce Lance to break this route off. he's kind of running a fade route towards the end zone. Complete miscommunication, and yet another 4th and short for this Bison offense.
And yet they've shown no willingness to come off the field.
Right.
They're going for it here for the 3rd time already on 4th down in this first half. From the 21-yard line, Peyton under center and leans forward. He's got the first down. Picked up 2 when he only needed 1.
Well, Northern Iowa came into this game actually really doing really well on 4th down. I think nationally they're in the top 10, but fortunately for NDSU, a lot of these 4th downs have been 4th and extremely short.
Bison, by the way, came into the game 3rd in 4th down conversions in the country. On a new set of downs, Peyton into the flat, hauled in on the reception. There's Truman Weremeyer, comes up with a pick. Talked to him before the game. His dad, Wayne, won a state championship on this field last night from his alma mater and Fargo Davies.
And he's got to be fired up. Davies takes home the state championship. He brings in a nice catch there. Defender all over him, too. Thought there was nothing really downfield. Cole Peyton does a nice job just fitting that in and finding something there on 1st down.
Davies ran for 530 yards of offense, a new Dakota Bowl record last night. He was grinning from ear to ear when I saw him in warm-ups before the game. Game of 7. It's a 2nd down and 4. We got some movement here before the snap. This looks like maybe on Griffin Empey moving.
False start. Offense number 62.
Indeed it is.
5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
Empey had a false start penalty last week. You can see there the flinch.
Penalty's a huge story. Both sides. I heard it from both fan bases
right
after
there.
last week. And it completely negates that 1st down gain.
Another reason that game was a 3.5-hour football game
Right.
last week. 2nd down and 9 and more movement. Nope, that's good. Yeah, the clock goes
This is the 2-minute timeout.
to the 2-minute timeout, which we will take a break. 2 minutes to go in the first half. Bison moving, leading 21-2. Two minutes to go in the first half. Coming up, the Proceed halftime report. Sam coming up. Highlight scores from around the FCS and what I describe as an eye-opening Saturday, Kyle, around FCS football in Week 12. After the penalty, it's a 2nd down and 9 from the Panther 18. Peyton goes to the corner. That's hauled in. Another run for Bryce Lance. He's tried to drag a couple defenders with him. Inside the 5. down to the 3-yard line. It'll be first and goal. Cabral Martin made the tackle.
Oh, once again, a great check here by Cole Payton, understanding that this is going to be a pressure. You see they got UNI to show their hand. He understands he's going to get one-on-one to the outside and an easy pitch and catch.
First and goal from the 3. Penu, Langenberg bursting through. Tucker Langenberg leads this team in tackles, and you see why.
Yeah, Langenberg, Crandall, a couple different guys on this Northern Iowa defense. You look at some of the stats. Again, we talked about them being able to get in the backfield a couple different times, and they've been doing that all season. I know it's been a tough year in terms of the record-wise, but there has been some flashes, as we've mentioned, for this Panther defense.
Officially a loss of 2, makes it second down and goal to go. Back to Penu, trying to stretch it out. Barika Penu, touchdown, North Dakota State, his second of the game. And 17th of the season.
Well, all he does is score touchdowns down here. And again, this is going to get sealed off. I believe it's Truman Rubenmeyer. Watch 46 right here. Just seal it right there. And just now it's just a race to the corner, and Penu wins that race. Nice job there by Truman Wermeyer of kind of securing that edge and allowing Barika into the end zone once again.
Did a little bit of everything, did 46 on that drive, and come up with a reception and a couple of good blocks. Bison take advantage of the great Williams punt return. A short field, and Osick bangs home the extra point. And with a minute left in the first half, it's now 28-2, North Dakota State.
There's another good look at it. It's multiple guys where you see right here. It looks like someone's going to slip off, and then Truman Wermeyer cleans it up. Barika Penu does what he does best, finds the end zone.
Callie's now tied 9th most rushing touchdowns in a season, with Paul Hatchett, Chris Simdorn, Easton Stick, and Rod Malone all scored 17 times in a season, and there's still going to be some football left to be played here.
He's got an outside chance. Remind me, the record 25?
The record is 23.
23.
Jeff Bentram did that in the record-setting year of 86.
And this, as we talked about, I mean, potential for quite a few football games left for this team. I think it's so interesting, all the weapons they have, and Bryce Lenza, Reese Kessel, obviously, Cole Payton himself, but you see, again, he gets stuffed on the first down play. They just go right back to him. Kind of different things. Go up the middle, stretch it to the outside. We've seen him jump over piles. Kind of done it in a lot of different ways for number 8.
See the Farmers Union Insurance scoring recap. 9 plays, 41 yards. Penu, a 5-yard touchdown run, his 17th of the year. Your former teammate John Crockett had 21 in your senior season, including one in the national championship game. What a year for the former Cheyenne Mustang. Osick, another one for the pile. That's number 45 on the season, as the Panthers will go from the 25-yard line. Bison defense is kind of feel like we've pitched a shutout here in the first half. The offense gave up the safety.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. They have, and they've done, again, kind of picking up. I guess, they had 3 turnovers a week ago as well. Did a lot of nice things there, and it, again, kind of carried over. And I think they've cleaned up a little some things too. I think the one knock they had a week ago, they got probably too many first downs, just to get off the field fast enough. Well, it seems like they've corrected that here early in this ball game.
Any worries about complacency or overlooking the opponent? We have not seen in the first half from the home team. Here's Daly, flushed here, waiting. Now we'll just throw it out of bounds with Kelton McCaslin bearing down. That got into the second row of the stands.
Well, you see the athleticism for Daly, but a good job here by NDSU. Get some pressure on him. He scrambles to the outside, and I thought this was a really nice job by Donovan Woolen and a couple other guys, Jaquise Alexander, of understanding where he was at on the field and not committing too soon. That's one as a defender. You start to run up on the quarterback, all of a sudden he dumps it over his head. I thought they did a good job of staying in coverage and forcing Daly to throw that one away.
You have the rarity today of having 2 left-handed starting quarterbacks. Granted, that happened earlier this year. We had Aiden Bauman and Cole Payton, as this one is incomplete, out of the hands of Kershaw. That was a zinger there, and it's going to be 3rd down.
Well, credit Taylor Needy, because he takes a really good angle to make a tackle. This is one, if he takes a worse angle, he might have himself an interception. See if you can see what I'm talking about. You see he's going straight for the receiver. If he's just a little bit off there, that's one that gets tipped and right into his hands. But Those are the dangerous throws there. If you're Jackson Daly, those tips and overthrows oftentimes turn into turnovers.
3rd and 10 for Northern Iowa. 0 of 5 on 3rd downs in the game. Hit as he threw, got that one out, and Jaquise Alexander flies in on Aiden Price. Just how well he's been playing out of that corner spot.
Yeah, and they do a good job, again, of confusing. It looks like it's zero pressure, but watch this tackle. I mean, again, it's tough one-on-one for Jaquise Alexander to come up. Great break on the football as NDSU takes a timeout here. But you see they get pressure on him. This is a now route, and they still get pressure on Daly. But then Jaquise Alexander, one-on-one, heck of a tackle.
Polasek got a pretty good 40 time there to get to the referee to call a timeout right after that tackle.
Well, I'm sure he'll tell you. He still got it a little bit. He'll be the first to tell you.
The amount of confidence that young man is playing with. We were there in Brookings 2 years ago. He was making his first start as a redshirt freshman against that all-time great team with Mark Gronowski leading the way for the Jackrabbits. He's come a long way since then, Kyle.
Yeah, he really has. And you talk to the coaching staff, and they talk about some of the changes he's made and the improvement. Obviously, the development that goes into playing Division I football. I think he's just kind of continued to take that next step. Now you find he finds himself playing some really, really high quality football right now.
Another punt coming from Pettinger, his 6th already of the half. Now every Northern Iowa possession is ended. In this one, they listened to you. Kicked it out of bounds. Let's see where they mark it, though. How far up? Still moving. Still moving out at the 42. So the Bison have 1 timeout and 36 seconds to work with.
Well, and this is why I was saying it's easier said than done. Hey, you got to kick it away from Jackson Williams. You can't give him a chance. Well, this is what's going to happen, right? Pettinger obviously trying to, I would assume, kick it away from Jackson Williams, but now you give NDSU a short field.
Oh, look at this score.
That game may never end.
51 all in Carbondale in the 5th overtime, and now it's pretend football.
Yep,
because it's just 2-point conversions that's happening.
Right. It's not even.
But that's no pretend on the result. That is a huge game. Sam will have an update on that coming up on the Proceed halftime report. One correction, the Bison have 2 timeouts to work with. Here's Peyton over the middle of the field. There's Owen Johnson with a reception. Owen will get out to the 48-yard line for his tackle. No timeout call. They'll set the chains and then run the clock. That's the first reception of the year for Owen. Peyton flushed here. Now he's going to get out of bounds. Stops the clock with 20 seconds to go. And the Bison have the ball here. They'll mark it at the 44 of UNI.
Well, and I think this is where they're trying to take a shot here. It's almost like 4 verts on the outside. Nothing there for Cole Payton. Tried again. I think he was trying to get someone in that scramble drill where they've been so good. Get someone that you're taught as a receiver. If you're short, go long. If you're long, come back. Just couldn't get anyone downfield and open.
Again, they've got some luxury here with the 2 timeouts. They can go over the middle of the field if they want, or run the ball if they so choose. From the 44, penalty flag on the play. Free play here. Peyton will go to the outside. Lance will get out of bounds. Out at the 37.
Yeah, that's going to be a Northern Iowa, I think, lined up in the neutral zone.
Offside. Defense, number 95. That penalty is declined. 3rd down.
All right, so one correction here. We were right. NDSU has 1 timeout remaining. As UNI was called for offsides there. So from the 37, it's a 3rd down officially. Scoreboard here inside the dome is not updating as Lance makes the reception on the slant. They get the first down as Polasek onto the field to call a timeout at the 28-yard line with 8 seconds to go.
Timeout. North Dakota State.
So the Bison will use their final timeout and set up Eli Ozick for a field goal.
When you see how many defenders Northern Iowa, I think they're trying to, they're obviously trying to get to Cole Payton, get a sack, keep him out of field goal range. But a nice job of getting the ball out of his hands. Just a quick slant to Bryce Lance.
often do you work in that and practice that 2-minute drill?
Offenses do, yeah, all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, it's usually, I believe, if I can remember correctly, it's something you do on Thursdays as well. But I know Coach Polasek, he might do it more often. I know even talking to him in the offseason, there was a huge emphasis. You know, talk about this middle eight. Got the stat here somewhere. This one actually courtesy of Sam Getzinger. So if it's wrong, you blame him. 92-16, NDSU is in the middle eight this season.
Well, Polasek told us both that, so there you go. Sam knows his stats. All right, Ozick is in. Officially, this will be spotted at the 36. It'll be a 46-yard attempt here for Ozick to extend the lead. Spot down. Kick is up, and it is good. Eli Ozick from 46 yards out. And North Dakota State now leads it 31-2 with 3 seconds remaining in the first half. They steal 3 points after they force the punt.
They just, they continue to find ways to win here. And I don't even remember exactly where they were in the middle eight a week ago. But they just, I think Coach Polasek does a really good job of managing the time. The offense understands the assignment. And right there, especially, I think, again, Cole Payton recognizing the pressure, how many Panther defenders were up on the line of scrimmage, knowing I'm going to have an easy slant completion here to Bryce Lance, give my kicker a good chance to give us 3 points before we head into half.
Farmers Union Insurance scoring recap after they force the punt. 5 plays, 30 yards, takes all of 33 seconds off the clock. Eli Ozick from 46 yards out to make this now a 31-2 lead. I think Kyle's frustration up here is the fact that the game 1 final in Carbondale, South Dakota beat Southern Illinois 53-51. The Coyotes now are done. They're in the clubhouse at 8-4 because they have a bye week next week. They're in the FCS playoffs.
Absolutely.
What a turnaround. I mean, we saw them at their absolute worst in September, as this is going to be fielded and finally downed at the 21-yard line, and that's going to do it for an impressive first half for the #1 team in the country. The Bison hold UNI to 6 punts and will take a 31-2 lead to the halftime locker room. Here's Sam.
Thanks, Tom. Coach, 29-point lead at the break. What do you take away from the offensive performance in the first half?
Well, we need to be a little bit better on second down, honestly. I want to see that improve. I think we're fighting really well in the run game. They have a good run plan, but I'm really encouraged by them feeling me wanting to be aggressive today and kind of put it on the players. Like, how good can we be?
6 straight quarters of dominating defense. What is working so well?
Well, they're cohesive right now. They're playing fast, hard, and together, you know, and I think the defensive staff is all on the same page. Grant's doing a really nice job of leading that group, and we've got some playmakers out there, some good hard hitting too.
Thanks, Coach. Good luck in the second half. North Dakota State with the lead over Northern Iowa. Your Proceed halftime report coming up next on WDAY. Back inside of the Fargo Dome for the Proceed halftime report. North Dakota State with a big lead over UNI, 31-2 at the break on what has already been a wild day of college football so far. This is one of many crucial Missouri Valley Football Conference games happening on this Saturday afternoon. Some crazy scores to pass along your way. Earlier today, game has gone final. North Dakota with the win down in Murray, Kentucky, 35-17 the final score. Our craziest game of the day so far, South Dakota traveling to Carbondale and getting the 53-51 win in 5 overtimes. So their season, regular season, has come to an end with an 8-4 record. Other scores around the conference at the halftime break. Illinois State up big on South Dakota State, 35-13. South Dakota State scoring the last 13 unanswered. Indiana State and Youngstown State, the Penguins getting the 48-29 win over the Sycamores from Indiana State. Couple of crazy scores. We'll keep our eye on some other ones across FCS football coming up later on today as well. Reminder for you, after the conclusion of this one between North Dakota State and Northern Iowa, be sure to tune into Bison Postgame Live. You can catch it on WDAY Plus and Inform.com immediately following the game. We give you full game highlights and reaction from players and coaches. Again, you can catch it on WDAY Plus and Inform.com. Here inside of the Fargo Dome at the break, it's a 29-point lead for the Bison. When we come back, we'll let you know how the season is going to come to an end next week. Be sure to stick around. Proceed Halftime Report continues next on WDAY. Back inside of the Fargo Dome for the Proceed halftime report. The Bison leading the Panthers 31-2 after the first two quarters of play. Now coming up next week, the regular season, it comes to an end with the Tommies from St. Thomas coming to Fargo for the first time since 1966. And also tomorrow, the Bison, they will honor their great class of seniors as well. We will have all the action for you on WDAY. It's a 2:30 kickoff. Our pregame show starting at 2:20. Also a reminder for you, Bison game day from 10 to 11. And we'll have Bison postgame live following the game on WDAY Plus and Inform.com. It's the Bison and the Tommies for the first time in a very long time next week here inside of the Fargo Dome. Senior Day as well to wrap up the regular season. Here on the second to last week of the regular season, North Dakota State again with the big lead over the Panthers. We'll step aside when we come back. Dom and Kyle have a look at the first half highlights coming up next on WDAY.
Proceed halftime report rolls on. North Dakota State leading Northern Iowa 31-2 here in this penultimate game of the 2025 season. Back with Kyle Emanuel, I'm Dom Izzo. Panthers held to 43 yards. I mentioned it earlier, NDSU's defense, they can brag. They held a shutout there. You and I got that points on the Bison offense.
They've been dominant, right? 43 yards, as you mentioned, for Northern Iowa. Jackson Williams has been a huge part of this as well. And Cole Payton's got things going kind of back on track, if you will.
Bison got the ball first, Kyle. They went right down the field on their opening possession of the game.
Yeah, it's Brika Pennu into the end zone. And I thought even going back to the first or second run of the game, he set the tone, said, we're going to come out, we're ready to play. He ran some people over and got into the end zone again.
Made it a 7-0 score. Then a big stop here for UNI on defense with Owen Ostrowski with a sack.
Well, it's like their defense kept trying to get the offense going, but they just couldn't. I mean, you see Keenan Wilson right here getting into the backfield. A couple of different guys cleaning up. Donovan Woolen there as well, but the defense has been dominant. And then again, Jackson Williams has been special.
Panthers had the ball 6 times. They punted all 6, and for some reason, they kept punting number 18.
Well, and then the one time they didn't, they kick it out of bounds for about a 20-yard punt. This was called a horse collar as well, and it put them right down there on the 5-yard line. And I guess who? Cole Payton finds a way into the end zone.
Finishes it off, made it a 14-0 score. At that point, though, UNI got some momentum on this play from Caleb Frazier.
Yeah, I thought Frazier did a nice job. They're expecting him to go down with the play, and he stays home. And Cole Payton tried to escape from backwards, something you just can't do.
Again, no room for Daly here. Darius Givens with an absolute stick there. Then the big play Bison return with a play to Bryce Lance.
He found Bryce Lance downfield. He knows there's no safety over the top. It's one-on-one. Literally, this is the definition. Just throw it up and let 5 go get it.
Lance had not scored in 4 games. That drought is over.
Yeah, and he's 7 catches, 124 yards, and a touchdown. That's a first half stats for Bryce Lance.
That made it a 21-2 score after another big punt return. Brika Pennu got in. That made it a 28-2 score. Then Jaquise Alexander with an absolute stick as well.
There's just defensive highlights all over the place. I thought they played really fast, really well. Highlighted here by Jaquise Alexander, a nice one-on-one tackle.
Which set up an Eli Ozick 46-yarder to make it a 31-2 North Dakota State lead at halftime. Again, the Panthers held to 43 yards of offense. We come back, we'll kick off the second half. Bison trying to finish conference play unbeaten, leading by 29.
This has been the Proceed Halftime Report.
Here at Gate City Bank Field, 31-2. North Dakota State with the lead. Time for our Ag Country player profile on Bryce Lance. Good timing on this by our production team after a 7-reception, 124-yard, and a touchdown performance in the first half.
Yeah, and he was coming into the day. He already was leading the conference in receiving yards. And now he's obviously going to be kind of maybe put that out of reach. He's just been as good as advertised. For a guy with a bunch of pressure on him, I don't think you can overlook that. Obviously, his name starts with his name, but then what he was able to do last year, all the pressure on him, got off to a quote-unquote slow start by some because he hadn't gotten to the end zone, and he's just kind of exploded since.
That was his 22nd career receiving touchdown. We talk about the Barika Penu touchdown record. The all-time receiving touchdown record is still in reach as well for Bryce Lance as Ozick drills another touchback to start the second half. Down for a Peterson Farm Seat sideline report. Sam visited with Todd Stepsis.
Yeah, I just spoke with him a couple of moments ago, brutally honest. He said the first half was terrible. It was the worst half that they played all year. But he also said that it was coming against the best opponent that they played all year, hands down. He said they're not communicating on defense. And he told his team at the break, you guys put in so much time preparing for the game. Do not waste any time actually playing it. So they're hoping to come out lively here in the second half.
He's got his work cut out for him. He knows that. We visited with him in Sioux Falls back in July on Missouri Valley Football Conference Media Day, and knowing big challenge here awaits as Daly will keep it on first down. Ran into the brick wall that is Keenan Wilson and Jackson Dutenheffer. Again, we talked about it, we've lamented it. This is not the program that fans are associated. Even go back 2019, they were a quarterfinal team that year and lost to James Madison.
They've always been a team with a ton of talent, usually athletes. Again, I always think of a really dominant defensive line. That's right. I always go back to say it on the pregame show. Back to when I was a true freshman, they had 9 sacks down there in Cedar Falls against North Dakota State. Won that game, and that's kind of what I've always associated this Panther team with.
No gain on the play. Jackson dragging a couple of guys with him there. Was able to pick up one before Staling and Alexander wrapped him up. And it goes to show it doesn't take long in college football. If you don't have the necessary funding, if you miss on a couple recruiting classes, if you don't hit the portal right, this is what can happen.
Yeah, exactly. Especially today. You can just ask South Dakota State how quickly it can change, right? When you lose a coach, I know that wasn't necessarily the case for Northern Iowa, but you lose a coach, you get some transfers. They're obviously in an area with Iowa and Iowa State. A lot of factors go into it.
3rd and 8. Panthers are still looking for their first third down conversion of the game. Daly hit as he throw. Incomplete. Overshot. He was trying to hit Kershaw. Jalen Duffy was in the area, and it's going to be 4th down.
Yeah, and under pressure once again, hits the turf. Tough throw here for Daly. Take a look at the rush. Jackson Dutenheffer out of start for the second half for him. Again, you're trying to fit that over a couple different guys, and Duffy's right there. Take another look at this from Dutenheffer. Just through the hands of Jalen Duffy.
Pettinger back to punt again for his 7th punt of the game. We'll angle this one. Rasha Nelson is back deep. It's not Jackson Williams. Shakes off a guy to Raj and is brought down to the play. That's Cabral Martin on the tackle at the 36-yard line. As we'll take a timeout. 13:23 to go. Second half. Bison offense about to get the ball, leading 31-2. Bison football is brought to you by Shields, a proud partner of Bison Athletics. After the punt from Pettinger, North Dakota State will take over at its own 36-yard line. Cole Payton will keep it here on first down. Look at this. Look at the explosion. No one's going to catch him. Payton, house call touchdown, 64 yards.
Feels like it's been a little while maybe for this. Again, we're so used to seeing the explosive runs from Cole Payton. You're right, Dom. And for a guy that big, when he gets into the open field, he just runs away from DBs. It's just not fair. I love the call coming out of half. Get the ball back. It might be the end of his day. We'll see, but heck of a way to start the second half there for number 9.
I got to double check this. I believe that is his 7th rushing touchdown from 60 yards or more in his career. We saw it at US Bank Stadium a couple years ago. He's done it everywhere. Extra point up and good. Then a penalty flag thrown way after the extra point was made by Ozick, so we'll get the call on this. But again, when he gets into the open field, I mean, he runs like a wide receiver.
Yeah, he does. And really, it's been a little different this year because they've, rightfully so, they've used him more as a quarterback. We've seen probably less quarterback run game.
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, receiving team, number 95, got 15-yard penalty enforced on the kickoff. That's his first unsportsmanlike conduct of the game.
It's on Jalen Pettis that happened during, or at least maybe after, the extra point attempt. Let's get another look here at the run from Payton.
Yeah, and again, we've seen some of this year, right? But a good job. He's breaking tackles. He's running away from people. A lot of his rushing yards have come from scrambling, right, where there's nothing downfield, and I call it weaving down the field. Like, he's just done an unbelievable job of recognizing when to pull it down and when to take a shot. But there we see, again, how dangerous he can be in that +1 run game. You're right, Dom. It's just he's the explosive runs over 60 yards.
Man.
It's just been kind of incredible. Been fun to watch, have a first-hand seat to it for his career.
One play, 64 yards, 11 seconds to make this now a 38-2. We might be heading for a scoregami here, potentially, on the Farmers Urine Insurance scoring recap. And with the penalty, Kyle, it's Ozick kicking off at midfield.
I wouldn't be surprised if he tries to pooch this one. Force Northern Iowa to try and return it. We'll see.
Nope, he could get this one into like the 5th row if he wanted, and out of the 2nd row. There is UNI will come on the field. Here's a word from the Bank of North Dakota.
Get a boost in savings when you enroll with College Save. Simply opt in for College Save's match programs for newborns, kindergartners, and children up to 15 years old, with only one of them based on income. Visit collegesaveforyou.com to enroll today.
So Northern Iowa back out on the field here. Now trailing at 38-2. In a position now where you might see some substitutions made by Tim Polasek on each side of the ball with the score the way it is. As Harrison Bay-Bowie gets the carry, already seeing that as Peter Haugo is into the game. Matthew Stenbrotten out there on defense as Bay-Bowie gets a first down.
Yeah, and you're right. You're going to see, you're already starting to see some substitutions from Coach Polasek. That's obviously not what he wants to see is a 10-yard gain there. First time you start to roll some guys in. Nice job there by Bay-Bowie of, again, once we've seen that a couple times so far today, just kind of moving the pile after first contact.
It's a gain of 10 out to the 36. Bay-Bowie again was the starter most of the season, came in with just over 400 rushing yards for the redshirt senior, 3 touchdowns on the year. Larson comes up with a tackle.
Yeah, this is what they were able to do a week ago. I mean, they only had to throw the ball 11 times. They ran the ball really, really effectively. Obviously, the majority of it was Bill Jackson. Over 140 yards a week ago and a couple touchdowns.
2nd down and 4. Bay-Bowie off the right side and able to get around and picks up a first down. He's Going to mark it out here to the Bison 45-yard line before he's pushed out of bounds by Jalen Archibald, freshman out of Frisco, Texas.
Yeah, great stiff arm there on the outside for Bay Bowie, again showing off his skills. It's a tough guy to bring down. I think he showed that more than once here today. Gets outside to the edge, 2 Bison defenders waiting for him. He stiff arms one and is able to find the corner.
Archibald transferred in, spent last year at the Air Force Prep Academy. Good friends with Donovan Woolen, as the Bison have used all those trips to Frisco to their benefit. And that's a nice spin move here on the carry. That'll get all the way out to the 35-yard line for Jackson. And then a late penalty flag thrown. Let's get the information on this.
Well, you see, yeah, Jack Uliano running off there 98. He was tangled up with someone. Catch the number after the play.
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, defense number 98, 15-yard penalty from the end of the run. First down, Northern Iowa.
It's on Uliano here.
First unsportsmanlike conduct.
You can see there at the top of your screen.
Yeah, just a takedown there of Blake Anderson, number 65. Didn't like what he was doing to him after the play, but again, we talked about this last week with Bo Johnson. Usually the second guy that's going to get caught, and that's exactly what happened.
Just double check, by the way, going back on the Peyton touchdown. 6th career touchdown from 60 yards or more rushing the football. Remarkable. Here's Northern Iowa with its best field position. Jackson makes a nice cut and wrapped up on the play. That's Haugo in there on the tackle. See a lot of Bison reserves here into the game on defense, and this was something I think planned by Grant Olson. I'll talk with him on Thursday, that we got to see some of our younger players out here on the field.
Yeah, without a doubt. They wanted great time to evaluate. There's only so much you can see from practice film. This is where you want to evaluate against the starting unit here for Northern Iowa, but so far give the advantage to the Panther offense and moving the ball pretty well here on the ground.
Also know full well here, Cal, where we are at the season, you've got the flexibility with the 4-game rule. You can get some guys into the lineup. Daly zings that. Is that intercepted? Did Haugo come up with it? It is. It's an interception. Haugo comes up with the pick. The Fargo North product with his first career interception.
Well, let's take another look at this great job here by Haugo. Again, the ball gets tipped up in the air. Let's see, does he get his hands underneath?
Oh, yeah,
absolutely. That is a clean catch and an unbelievable play after they were just marching down the field. I'm tough to question play calling, especially at this point in the ball game, but you ran the ball for probably 8-9 yards a carry on that drive. I understand it. You're thinking, they're going to commit to the run and I can throw it, but I've got to keep that one on the ground, try and get into the end zone. But Peter Haugo takes advantage of a tip ball.
A couple years ago this weekend, Peter Haugo was running roughshod for Fargo North and leading them to a state football championship at running back. If you remember, he actually was a really good defensive player in high school. As here's Penu cutting back up, and Barica with a first down all the way up here to the 18-yard line. We remember Peter played running back last year, but Grant Olson has always valued him as a linebacker.
Football guy, right? I mean, yeah, you just talked about, I think, what he was able to do for Fargo North, and coaching staff kind of plugged and play, right? They had some injuries at running back put in there. He did some really nice things at the ends of ball games, and now showing off what he can do as a linebacker.
First down out to the 19-yard line after the carry from Penu. Barica will get it again, this time wrapped up. Ostrowski was in there to lead the way for UNI.
Yeah, trying to this outside zone play again, trying to get a double team. You see right there on number 90, and then climb to the second level. But a really good job there by Northern Iowa triggering. That's Langenberg again, a guy that finds his way into the backfield a ton.
No gain. Crandall and Pinks leading the way with 6 tackles apiece for UNI. Panthers will wrap up the regular season next week at home with Youngstown State, and that's a biggie, obviously, with Youngstown winning today. The Penguins are 7-4. They need every win they can get, as Peyton is going to be sacked again. Ostrowski with his second of the game.
Great rush here. Once again, it's basically the same thing we saw. You see just a little swim with just a swipe, actually. That's a great job by a defensive lineman. You run right down the center. That's Bo Johnson he's working on. A really good offensive lineman run right down the center. Make you think he's going to power rush you. He anchors his feet and just swipes him by.
You can see that guy was highly coveted in the portal.
Yeah,
he
makes
left
sense.
Tulsa last year. There was a bunch of schools, including NESU, that were in on him. He decided to go to Northern Iowa. And boy, it's paid off. His brother helped coach the offensive line at UNI. On 3rd and 17, little screenplay here to Penu, trying to get the first down. I think he got it. Where do they mark him? It's going to be close. It might be a yard shy to the 28-yard line.
Yeah, I think you're right. Great job here by Brika Penu. You see the missed block there on the outside, but he gets by one guy, steps out there. I mean, that's close. You can see the first down marker right there, basically right where he stepped out, but I think it's going to be a little bit short.
And they're keeping the offense, at least for now, on the field on their own 28-yard line. Bison have already gone for it 3 times on 4th down in this game.
Well, and this is one I don't know if they're actually going to snap it.
Yeah.
We'll see here. Wouldn't be surprised, especially if you see Cole Payton go under center, if this is a hard count or a quarterback sneak.
After Aaron Bickerton punted so well, we have not seen him here yet in the game. And a penalty flag thrown as the play clock hits 0.
Delay game.
And there you go.
Offense, number 9, 5-yard penalty. 4th down.
Well, after we talked him up in pregame, it'd be nice to see Bickerton into the game because he was fantastic last week.
You're right. I mean, it was by far his best game. Named National Special Teams Player of the Week. I mean, it was directional. It was the length obviously was there. He did a phenomenal job of flipping the field a couple different times for NDSU last week.
He had one in the coffin corner that was just a huge punt in that game. Recognized, as Kyle mentioned, as the National Special Teams Player of the Week after the victory. That one blocked. They got through it, and that ball will be recovered in the end zone for a touchdown. Pinks got onto it, or Scoville, excuse me, for Northern Iowa, and special teams for the Panthers results in a touchdown.
Well, we hadn't talked about it, but Northern Iowa leads the country. They had 5 blocked kicks coming into this ball game. Add another one. I believe it was 3 field goals and 2 punts, if I'm not mistaken. And unbelievable job. Brought the house. This again, I know the record is what it is, but there are some certain things that they shine at, and one of them is special teams and blocking kicks, and they did it again.
Oh, they got right through. Scoville is the one who ends up recovering into the end zone for a touchdown. Max Bartacek will come in for the first extra point attempt of the game for UNI, which is up and good with 7:21 to go in the 3rd quarter. Northern Iowa has its first touchdown as they block the punt. Score now reads 38-9. Bison football is brought to you by Sanford Health. We deliver exceptional health care. Here for all, here for good. Sanford Health. Another look at the block punt, Kyle.
Well, yeah, and as a shield, you see right here, John Powers, 33, he splits the shield. You're taught as a shield, if they're going to block it, they have to come outside you. Absolutely, no matter what, there cannot be a crack in that shield. They have to come around the outside. It's just obviously, it's just science, right? It's a longer route. If you go from the outside, they split the shield, and that's why they get the block punt.
This will be returnable out of the end zone for Williams. Uh-oh! Into the open field. We've seen this act before. Jackson Williams, one man to beat and brought down. Fumbled the ball. Is he down?
I don't think so,
and he's
Dom.
not. It's Northern Iowa
think he
football. The Panthers come up with it. A.J. Vaughn is Johnny on the spot, and the Panthers get the football back.
Yeah, and they just kind of refuse to go away. This would have been so easy to just give up on, and the hustle there from Pinks. Yeah, that absolutely,
yeah,
that ball's easily out.
Northern Iowa.
Man,
that's why so often, I know he's trying to outrun someone, right? But it's easy for me to say from up here. But that's why they always teach you, move that ball to the outside. That way, when that defender comes in, that right arm can't get at the football. That's an unbelievable hustle play from that Panther special teams unit.
Panther special teams showing out here.
That's right.
Coming up here with the punt block and then the fumble recovery on the kickoff return. So Northern Iowa gets the ball deep in its own territory at its 14-yard line. Bison defensive starters are also back in the game. Handoff goes to Jackson. Kopp fills the area and brings him down.
Yeah, kind of no surprise. I think Coach Polisek felt the momentum shift, right? Bring your starters back into the game, and right on cue, Logan Kopp comes up with a big-time play after we just saw Northern Iowa basically walk down the field running the ball. Really just the interception that slowed him down, but how about that? I mean, we're thinking that's another Jackson Williams touchdown instead.
That would have been history, too.
Right.
That would have been the third kickoff return in school history. Would have given him the record. Instead, though, it turns into a fumble. Handoff here, and nothing happening. Dutenheffer was in there on the tackle, and it's going to be 3rd and long.
Well, it's been a good job here by this NDSU defense, again, trying to take back some of the momentum after Northern Iowa obviously captured with a couple big-time plays, and you can see right off the bat, I don't know what was said on the sideline, but I have to imagine there was a few choice words like, hey, we're still playing. There's a lot of time left on the clock. Nice job, Jackson. I feel like he's had an unbelievable game. I don't have the stats right in front of me, but I feel like he's shown up a couple different times.
3rd down and 7. Panthers still looking to convert here. 0 of 7 in the game. Daly gets rid of it. Swung out to Jackson, and he's got the first down of the conversion of the game. And with him out to the 32-yard line and a gain of 15.
Well, and I got to imagine this is some type of bust here. NDSU brings pressure off the edge, but there's just no one here for Bill Jackson. You see number 1 kind of sitting all by himself. Givens does a nice job of coming off of his guy. There might have been even more room, and then he continues to fight. As you mentioned, a big 3rd down conversion for that Panther offense.
Todd Steps has got to like what he's seen out of his team here in this 3rd quarter. This could have gotten away real quick, especially after Peyton's one play. The offense has barely been on the field for NDSU. Daly slings that to Anderson. Staling will track him down as he'll get out to the 39-yard line. And that's a gain of 7. Anderson a little slow to get up.
Well, it's a good job, though, by Anderson. He's initially blocking. You see him just for a second there at the top. So he kind of gets lost because he sits there and he blocks for just a second. Then he releases. There's no one there to pick him up.
Anderson's got to come off there. You can see he was grimacing after he made that reception. You can see holding that right hand of his. Gain of 6 as we're down to 4.5 remaining in the 3rd. 38-9 the score. Harrison Bay Bowie this time bounces off a man. It was off a Nene. Good second effort, and he's got a 1st down. Good run. Out to the 48-yard line. He picked up 10.
Well, 32 is just a guy. You can't hit him
like
at the top
ball,
of his
right?
numbers. I watched a couple different tacklers here. hit him high. Right there, that's too high. Donovan Woolen, that's too high. He keeps spinning. I mean, that's almost 8-9 yards. Yeah, that should have been a 1 yard gain, if anything. That's kind of some day one stuff that as a coaching staff kind of drives you crazy.
3:40 remaining in the third. New set of downs for the Panthers. Back to Jackson. Into a pile here. Lurches forward and is able to get a couple. Staling got him as he gets to the 49-yard line and picked up 3.
Yeah, they do a better job this time and get a little bit lower again, but though I'll give Jackson some credit of, seems like, especially in the second half, both him and Babu have found ways to fall forward here. And described for running backs a lot, find a way to fall forward. They've done that here in the second half.
2nd and 7. Panthers now over 100 yards for the game of offense. Daly incomplete. Trying to hit Roquet on that. Maybe 3rd down.
Well, and once again, they bring Donovan Woolen off the edge. He just does this so well of coming off the edge, and they picked it up. But I think, just NDSU as a defense, they were able to speed up Daly and force an errant throw.
Third and 7. Panthers just got their first 3rd down conversion of the game. From the Bison 49. Daly over the middle, incomplete. Was trying to hit Jackson. And it's going to be 4th down.
Yeah, that's the one thing. They just have not been able to get the passing game going. I thought they might have got away with a hold there too, potentially. Stenbrod in 49, but again, just speed him up just a little bit. You see Jackson, they put that a little bit lower. Just be able to speed him up a little bit and force a bad throw.
Northern Iowa offense will stay on the field. Remember, they were going to go for it in the first half on 4th and 5 at a false start and then ended up punting the football away. Again, their offense has done nothing here today. They've got 2 points on a safety, the 7 on a block punt. 4th and 7, penalty flag on the play. Daly wants the deep ball. That is intercepted. Taylor Eady comes up with it. We saw the penalty flag at the snap. We'll see if this is going to stick or not.
Well, the NDSU coaches are kind of indicating that this is going to go against Northern Iowa.
It is.
Offense, number 2. That penalty's declined. The result of the play is an interception for a 1st down, North Dakota State.
And the first career interception for Taylor Eady will take us to break. 2:38 to go, 3rd quarter. Bison force another turnover and leading 38-9. Back here inside Gate City Bank Field in the Fargo Dome, 38-9. Bison with the lead. Coming up after the game, Bison post-game live, exclusive on WDAY Plus, Inforum.com. Kyle and myself will have highlights from the game. You'll hear from both coaches, press conferences. We'll have scores from around the valley. All coming up when we wrap things up on WDAY Plus. After the Edey pick, it's a first down for the Bison as DJ Scott goes off the left side for he's brought down by Crandall on the play. That interception was the 12th pick of the year for the Bison.
Yeah, they continue, I believe, coming into the game. They were 4th in the country in turnover margin. Been phenomenal in that area, leading the Missouri Valley. Had played a couple teams, too, that were great there, and they found ways to win. Obviously, a huge story, or part of the story last week against UND and why they were able to win that football game.
We make the offensive starters still in the game.
I think, well, again, I think the momentum shift, right? Yeah. I think Coach Polsick just kind of wanted to calm things down a little bit, bring your starting defense, starting offense, try to get some things rolling.
Again, tinkering with that offensive line. Johnson now at the right side with Mangan at right guard. As Scott going to lose yardage, looks like, on that play. Powers, who blocked the punt, is in there on the play, and it's going to be 3rd and long.
Yeah, you just see how quickly they trigger downhill here for Northern Iowa. They obviously understand the score of the game. They understand what NDSU is trying to do here. Keep your starters in, try to establish a run some clock, right? They know what's going on here, and they are committing to the run, doing a nice job here on those first 2 plays.
Is that anything to look at, the tinkering of what they're doing up front on the offensive line?
Yeah, well, they've just continued to do it, right?
Yeah.
And Coach Polsick continues to preach, I like competition. I think he's going to continue to do it until maybe he finds the 5 he wants.
3rd and 10 is to Bryce Lance trying to get up the field, and he's going to get pushed out of bounds about 2 yards shy. They'll mark him out at the 19-yard line, and it's going to be 4th down. And a quick 3 and out for the Bison.
Yeah, Bryce Lance, again, I think it's a good job. Talked about that for NDSU. Got to give credit where credit is due. Northern Iowa rallying to the football. Bryce Lance trying to cut that one back. Just Northern Iowa does a nice job of rallying, getting to him, and as you mentioned, I'm getting that 3 and out.
So Bickerton had the first punt blocked. Almost another one there, able to get that one off. Roque at about the 35, signal a fair catch. And that's where you and I will take over with 23 seconds remaining here in the 3rd.
I think you're right. I think that was close.
It was.
It looked like, at least from up here, might have just slightly bobbled it. Able to get it off. Pretty good punt, too. Bickerton, nice job. At that point, you, as a coach, you have to say, just get it off.
Get it
I don't
off,
care
right?
if it goes 30, 40 yards or 20 yards, whatever it is. Just make sure you get the thing off cleanly.
Again, this is the final conference game for North Dakota State here today. Tomorrow, or next week, they have the University of St. Thomas in their final non-conference game out of the Pioneer Football League will be here to wrap up the regular season. Here's Daly, will keep it himself on first down. Good run. Gets about 7 yards before he's brought down. And that was Oliver Luckman there on the tackle, out to the 42.
Yeah, they motioned Bill Jackson right at the snap, right, to get kind of expand the defense there, and then Daly does a nice job of just cutting that up and finding a few yards.
And that will take us to the 4th quarter. Bison get a big play from Cole Payton. UNI gets a big play on special teams. At the end of 3, it's North Dakota State 38, Northern Iowa 9. The 4th quarter is coming up. You're watching Bison football on WDAY. Ready for the start of the fourth quarter. Bison football is brought to you by Shields. Be sure to stop by Shields for all your hunting needs this fall. With Sam Getzinger, Kyle Emanuel, our great and very tired crew, I'm Dom Izzo. Fourth quarter underway. Bison leading it 38-9 on Northern Iowa. Second down and 3 for the Panthers. There's Elijah Wayne coming up and making the tackle on Action Jackson.
Great job here by Elijah Wayne. You see 54 once again, a little bit of slant there from the Bison defensive line, and he finds himself unblocked there, beats a guy. It's obviously a talent guy. We haven't talked about him in a little while, but he's certainly flashed early on in the year.
Again, he's playing as a true freshman at that spot. Bison haven't had that happen in 20 years. Yankton's Justin Frick was the last to do that. Loss of 2. It's 3rd and 5. On our First Western Bank, down in distance as Daly hits that one to Roque. First big pass play of the game for the Panthers as he gets out to the 37-yard line before he's brought down on the play. Gavin Sell making his first collegiate tackle.
Yeah, and they bring the pressure, and then you see Roque again just runs right down the seam, right down the hash mark, right behind that underneath coverage there from NDSU. A good job here by Daly of seeing it under pressure, takes a shot and still delivers a strike.
We're talking in the break here. This is the most points that Northern Iowa has allowed this season. You might think, well, the Bison may not have played as sharp as you'd like to see. Well, as here's Jackson spinning away, and Sell is able to wrap him up. We're going to talk about Gavin here in the fourth quarter as he gets to the 29-yard line. That's saying something. This Northern Iowa defense you were talking about early in the game.
Yeah, 4th in the conference, right? I mean, and I guess, you know, I bring up that stat because it doesn't surprise me they're still fighting. For the most part, they've stayed in games, and now the UND game was 35-7, right? That was the previous most points that they've given up. A lot of them, you know, 2-score games, maybe 17 points, something like that. They've fought in a lot of these close ball games, and some of them that they obviously have come up short on.
Gain of 8 for Jackson. 2nd and 2. I'll go back to him. This time going nowhere. That's Zach Vanderpool in there to make the tackle.
Yeah, let's take a look at here. You see Zach Vanderpool, 95 right there. Again, a little bit of a twist there inside with Elijah Wayne. He's coming across. He's picking the center and just continues to follow that offensive line and come up with a big stop.
Vanderpool had a forced fumble way back when in Nashville to the win over Tennessee State. That's the future of the interior of the Bison defensive line with Wayne and Vanderpool. Loss of 2 makes it 3rd and 4. Daly now under pressure, and down he goes. Vanderpool again.
Oh, back-to-back plays, and this is a really good job by Vanderpool because I think if Daly can hang on to this a little bit longer, he has some guys open. Again, just follow. This is a great job. You get to the level of the quarterback, you see him step up, you come off of your guy, you come up with a big-time sack. Again, I think Daly, that ball was popped out as well. Daly might have had a couple guys open if Vanderpool's not there to make the sack.
Out of a football factory, Kyle, in Byron, Minnesota. 4th down and 8 from the Bison 35. Daly over the middle. Kershaw with a reception and a first down. Spun down as he gets to the 16-yard line. Archibald in on the tackle for the Bison.
Yeah, it looked like he was working on Gavin Snell there on the outside, and just, again, nice job. NDSU elected to play coverage, but still kind of working similar, just a little bit of a slant there right along the seam, and Daly gets the drive to continue.
UNI into the red zone. So we're 4 minutes gone in this fourth quarter. A lot of backups, younger players getting into the game here for the Bison. Bay Bowie on the carry, and Haugo got to him first. Finished off by Luck. A couple of Fargo guys in there on the tackle.
Yeah, trying to set up a counter. You see Peter Haugo just setting the edge there and unable to bring him down, but does a nice kind of, I think he's almost surprised no one came to block him. He's sitting there waiting, what we call it, box it, right? Where essentially you're trying to keep everything inside of you, no one there, but does a nice job at least slowing down Bay Bowie.
You're going to see a couple of these linebackers that Grant Olson has talked to you and I both about. Haugo's one, Gavin Sell's another that they are really high on. Sells a true freshman. How go the redshirt freshman? 2nd and 8. Daly out of the pocket here, loose for the end zone, and that's incomplete. Out of the end zone. Archibald was down there in coverage with Antoine Booth.
Yeah, good job of plastering on the backside there. You see pressure almost immediately. I believe that's Logan Larson, 94, bearing down on Jackson Daly and throws us away. Fortunately, he got it far enough outside. A couple different Bison defenders there trying to get the toe tap and the interception.
Another 3rd down. Panthers just 2 of 11 on 3rd downs here in this game. Crowd that is left, which is a good crowd. Over 14,000 today. Daly to the end zone out of the back. And it'll be 4th down.
Great job here by Oliver Luck playing cover 2. It's always a giveaway. You see 55 and he gets deep into the end zone and flipping his hips right there and being there almost to come up with a big time play. It's a nice job. That's kind of teach tape there for that middle linebacker. Anytime you run in that deep middle, you don't, if 3 is not there to your one side, you got to flip your hips, come back to the other side. Nice job there by Luck.
Now, we know the Bison have already sustained injuries in that linebacker room. Austin Altapeter is done for the season. Ray James is done for the season. Those are 2 guys that probably be playing right now that are not out there. It's 4th down and 8. Daly over the middle. Roque in for a touchdown for Northern Iowa. J.C. Roque gets the Panthers their first offensive score of the day.
Well, it's a great look at it. Again, it's cover 2, but just vacate the middle of the field. Luck gets out of there running the deep middle, but I think got out of there a little bit too quickly. It's going to be one you turn on the tape and say that's something you got to tighten up a little bit there on the back end because that's just too easy for Roque.
5th receiving touchdown for the Panther wide receiver, and Todd Stepsis has got to be really pleased with what his team has done here in the second half. I know he talked to Sam about how poorly they played in the first half. They put a couple touchdowns on the board here in the second half. Timeout, 9:59 to go in the game. 38-16 Bison. Back here at the Fargo Dome, 9:59 to go in the game. Northern Iowa getting the touchdown from Roque, now trailing 38-16. Panthers with 2 touchdowns here in this 4th quarter. Look at Todd Stepsis visiting with his quarterback, and Stepsis built from the ground up at Drake. Turned that team, as you see, Drake won today. They won the Pioneer Football League for the third year in a row. He built that program, and he's going to try and do the same thing here at Northern Iowa. Shorter kickoff, going to be fielded here on the up-man return, and a good one as well. That from Jet Zabel. And comes up a little lame after that tackle. The younger brother, of course, of the first-round draft pick last year in gray. Wasn't sure if he was going to get a kick return to this game. You can see there, got his leg cut off from underneath him there.
Yeah, a little awkward tackle. I like the aggressiveness, though. You see so often he gets kicked to that up man, and they just put up their hand, called the fair catch. Nice job there by Zabel. Find a little room.
Nathan Hayes is into the game at quarterback, playing in his 8th game out of 11 for the backup quarterback for North Dakota State. And DJ Scott is his tailback. Gets the carry here on first down and maybe a gain of 1 as Ostrowski was in there on the tackle. This is the first time in 3 weeks that Hayes has played. He had a streak going. He was in every game. Didn't play against Youngstown or UND.
Yeah, I think every game but Illinois State, we found himself into it. And a guy that's shown off a ton of talent. We'll see how often he throws a ball here, but we've said it a ton. The guy, the ball comes out of his, it just seems easy, just fluid. Guy that I know Bison fans are excited about to have as their backup quarterback.
12 of 18 on the season for 188 yards, and he'll throw here, and there's the zinger, and the streak is going to continue, and Reese Kessel spinning away down the sidelines. He's out of bounds. He is the only guy to have a reception in all 11 games this season.
Well, we saw him warming up with Nathan Hayes during the break, and I was just about to say to you, Dom, like, I don't know if he's gotten his standard 20-yard catch yet. Well,
check it off.
Again, there it is.
Let's go down to Sam.
Well, you see a Nathan Hayes in the game, and he's been a guy that has really impressed the coaching staff on and off the field. They put him in situations where he's had to do some public speaking and just knocked it out of the park. He told us that he gets this competitive grit from being the younger of two brothers. He's got 2 other brothers, and he's the youngest. And he told us also a couple of weeks ago that he loves it to play angry.
You can see there he wanted the deep ball for Jackson Williams. That's the kind of touch that he has, and it's going to be second down.
Well, and I like the aggressiveness. Again, you get Jackson Williams one-on-one. It just floats it a little bit too far to the outside. I think that's a yard or 2 further inside. That's a touchdown for Jackson Williams. I mean, he's got to be hungry to get in the end. He had a couple almost.
Right. I talked with Nathan about that. I said, are you like the Hulk? You play better when you're angry? He said, absolutely. We saw the big face mask penalty on the run to seal the game in Brookings, and he plays with that kind of passion. Here's Scott on second down, going to get wrapped up. Got about 3 yards on the play. Langenberg with another tackle to add to his pile.
That's interesting. I don't know that I've heard that from a quarterback before. You think about an offensive lineman, right? All the big uglies at times, right? You think of them playing angry. It's interesting from a quarterback.
And Hayes is playing here, Kyle, with the starting offensive line. Looking out there, that's the Bison starters that are still in the game up front. As we click under 8 minutes to go in the ball game. 3rd down and 9. Hayes dumps it off on a screenplay to Owen Johnson. Johnson's got a first down and then some. What a move! Johnson out of bounds, down inside the 5. Boy, that's got to feel pretty good for the Mankato kid. Missed 18 months after a serious knee injury.
Yeah, it's set up perfectly. You see how many offensive linemen NDSU is able to get outside or get up to the second level, and then it's just Owen Johnson breaking a couple tackles. And you're right, Dom, for a guy who's been through some of the stuff that he has, no matter what, I think anytime he steps on the field, that guy's got to be just about as grateful as anyone.
Into the red zone here. 1st down and goal to go from the UNI 5. Johnson is the tailback. He'll get it here on 1st down. And wrapped up on the play. Maybe back to the original line of scrimmage. That was Crandall in there with another tackle. He leads UNI on the day. For those that don't know the story, Owen was one of the offensive weapons in 2023, and that game in Grand Forks pretty much tore every ligament in his knee. Missed the entire 2024 season and has come back and has contributed here sparingly throughout 2025. That was his biggest play of the year on that reception. No gain, 2nd down and 5. Hayes to the end zone, incomplete, overshot Carson Williams.
That's the layup, right?
Yeah.
That's the one. It's just almost too easy. Turns the wrong way, but you still have exactly what you want. I almost wonder if Carson Williams started to settle down because he was so wide open. Nathan Hayes is thinking he's going to continue running and just let him too far.
Williams got to be thinking, oh my gosh, I'm that open?
Right, just stopped.
Right?
I think he started to slow down.
3rd down and goal. Collins and Johnson to the top of your screen. Chris Harris to the bottom. 6:26 to go in the game. Hayes, slant, incomplete. Trying to hit Collins there. Good coverage from Joe Hall, and it'll be 4th down.
Yeah, and this one's it's zinged for sure.
Yep.
Just a little bit too far behind Mekhi Collins. Tight coverage there, as you mentioned. Good job there from Hall, but one that you got to put just a little bit more in front of Mekhi Collins, give him a chance to try and fall underneath that one.
So Osick in for his 2nd field goal attempt. Is spotted at the 13, so about a 23-yarder for Eli. Kick is up and good. And the Bison have extended the lead here. 6:20 to go in the game. New score reads North Dakota State 41 and Northern Iowa 16. .620 to go in the game. 41-16 the new score. North Dakota State goes 9 plays, 50 yards, 333. Eli Osick with a 23-yard field goal on the Farmers Union Insurance scoring recap. He's out of the game. Drew Klein into the game to handle kickoff duties here. Line drive kick from Drew, and he'll add to the touchback total. That goes into the end zone, and UNI to the 25-yard line. Timeout. 6:20 remaining. Panthers ball, trailing 41-16. 6:20 to go in the game. NDSU leading Northern Iowa 41-16. Stay tuned, everybody, for the Nodak Insurance Company Player of the Game. We'll select that before we wrap up here on this Saturday afternoon. Bison in position to finish conference play without a loss. Daly under pressure, and down he goes on the sack. What a second half being turned in here by Zach Vanderpool.
Oh, you're right, Dom. He just continues to show up, continues to get into the backfield, and Daly forced to hold this, trying to get a shot downfield. Great job. Just a shoelace tackle, but they all count the same. Great job there by 95 again, once again, finding his way in the backfield a couple different times.
Boy, he's put a heck of a resume reel together here in this fourth quarter. Couple of sacks and a TFL. Loss of 13. We'll make it a second down and 23. Back on the ground. This carry, first of the game for Christian Collins, freshman out of Green Bay, Wisconsin. Archibald in on the tackles. He gets out to the 17. Maybe third and long. Get some finals coming in, Kyle, from around the valley. UND actually was trailing in that game in the second quarter. Fighting Hawks end up beating Murray State. That's their 7th win. And they host South Dakota State next Saturday in Grand Forks. We obviously mentioned that one earlier. UST's 5 overtime win to get the Coyotes into the FCS playoffs. Daly down the field. Kershaw almost came up with it. Knocked away. And it's going to be 4th down.
Well, and it's a great job here by Hudson Ards. Great coverage as well, but good job by 22 of just tracking that one the entire time that ball was in the air and making sure that Kershaw wasn't going to come up with that catch.
Freshman Mikhail Ford out of Lincoln, Nebraska. Back on the punt return.
32. Mikhail Ford is able to receive number 91.
Pettinger again into punt. Was a busy man in the first half. Good kick here as Ford will let this one bounce, and it's going to go out of bounds as they'll mark that at about the 30-yard line, and that's where the Bison offense will come onto the field. This copyrighted telecast is an exclusive presentation of Learfield under the broadcasting rights granted by North Dakota State University. Reuse of this presentation is prohibited without the express written consent of North Dakota State University and Illinois State leading. That was a 35-0 game, Kyle. The Jacks have made it competitive in the fourth quarter.
Not only was it 35-0, it was 28-0 after the first quarter.
Yes.
Illinois State came out on fire. Just use some credit hanging around in that one.
Another typical Bo Brungard game for Youngstown State as they get their 7th win. Carry there for Cortez LeGrant as he's into the game. Brought down by Isaiah Pinks. Gain of 6 for LeGrant, the transfer from University of Minnesota. St. Thomas falls in their final conference game. The Blue Hose of Presbyterian will see the Tommies here next week. Hayes to throw, incomplete, out of the hands of Luke Kocat. And it's going to bring up 3rd down.
Well, yeah, Kocat does a nice job of just sitting down in this zone, and then that's one I don't know if you hear the footsteps. You're just trying to make a move a little bit too quickly. Doesn't come up with a catch.
I thought you were going to say you're going to hear Polisic say, "Catch the ball." Might be his favorite 3-word saying that he has. 4:07 remaining. 3rd and 4 for the Bison, 36. Hayes slings that nice catch there. There's Johnny Gores. That's his first reception of the season for the Fargo Shanley kid.
Yeah, good to see Johnny Gores in the game. A couple big-time plays a year ago. I think back to that ETSU 4th down catch that he had. Basically saved that game for him. And you mentioned, Hayes puts that on the outside, does a good job of kind of adjusting with the ball and coming up with the catch.
Well, Hayes in high school, outstanding baseball player, pitcher. He could have gone and played Division I baseball if he so chose. Good run here up the middle. Out to the 44-yard line. Brady Wapnerek on the carry. Or he's brought down by Coleman Miller.
Now you're starting to see this offensive line open up a couple of holes here to get some of these younger guys into the ball game and doing a nice job of creating some holes, allowing Wawrnek to get downfield.
Well, right now you've got Gage Schmidt, who they really like, young player at center. Babbitts is out there. Jack Lewinsky into the game at left guard as Wawrnek goes out for a couple. While we have a minute, just want to give, I know they don't want the attention, but for a lot of our viewers that were watching yesterday here at the Dakota Bowl, our crew put in yeoman's work yesterday, televising 4 games. There's my guy Jeb here to my left, who was on his feet for about 16 hours. Eric Bennell, Kyle Streck shooting all day yesterday. Our guys in the truck cannot salute enough, producing a Division I football game that's quality. Many schools in the FBS would be troubled with. Amazing job, guys. Here's a first down. Hayes wants the deep ball for Gores. Incomplete. Had to come back for it. Broken up. Wanted the home run ball.
Yeah, and I think he had him. You're right, Dom, just slightly underthrown. Does a good job, though, of putting that on the inside, allowing Gores to try and come underneath it, just slightly underthrown, and Johnny unable to come up with the catch.
That sideline would have went nuts.
Yes, yes, they would have.
Josiah Young was in there to break it up for UNI. Second down and 10 with 2:12 remaining. Back to the ground. Carry there for Miles Mitchell, or Charles Ross, excuse me, number 45, getting his first carry, freshman out of Kansas City, and that's going to take us to the 2-minute timeout. 2 minutes to go. Bison on their way to an 11th win in 2025, leading 41-16. Two minutes to go in this one. Third down and 7 for North Dakota State, leading 41-16 on Northern Iowa. About to complete a perfect conference season, something that hasn't been done since 2019. That year the Bison went 16-0. Handoff goes here to LeGrant. He's got a first down as he gets to the 34-yard line and picked up 8. Bison offense will stay on the field. The Nodak Insurance Company player of the game, Nathaniel Staling, led the Bison in tackles today. 7 total tackles, 1 TFL, We talked about him taking over that middle linebacker spot. He's been great all year long.
Again, another guy's been as good as advertised, and a guy that we just heard a ton about. The potential, it's always there. You never know what you're going to see once he comes on the field, and I think he's been outstanding. That entire linebacking crew has been.
Hayes has got some wheels to him, cuts up. Look at this. Nathan Hayes, touchdown, North Dakota State. 34 yards. We saw him run away from Tennessee State last year, and he does it here today.
Yeah, I think he surprised a couple people last year when he showed off the, hey, I was a pitcher, but I can run the ball too. You see his speed once he gets into the open field. It's impressive, and that's why you see so many fans, coaches obviously excited about what he can do. Somersault as well. Apparently he can do it all.
So he was looking like a outfielder there with the way he was running. Ozick in for the extra point. Drills that. And it's 48-16 here with 1:25 to go in this one.
And again, it's just one of those things. I think people see him come in and just not expecting it. Maybe they have it. You don't obviously see a ton of film of Nathan Hayes. You mentioned the run he had to finish off the game against South Dakota State, but phenomenal athlete as well.
And this is the future at the quarterback spot for North Dakota State. For Bison fans that are still watching this football game, that's the guy who's going to be handed the keys in 2026.
I think you got to be pretty excited about what you've seen. I mean, sometimes, not for this team, sometimes the backup quarterback's the most popular guy because you see him come in and go, well, look at that, they flash. But I just think his potential, his talent, it's obvious, right? I don't think it takes a great football mind to look at what Nathan Hayes, and you can just see it. The talent is there. Not going out when you're the everyday guy. That's why we talked about with Cole Payton as well. Can you go out and do it? Obviously, he's checked that box. And that'll be the challenge for Nathan Hayes when we go to 2026.
I want to go back to what they're about to accomplish here today. You did that in 2013. Your team won every game that season, but you had not done to that point was win every conference game. This is a huge accomplishment by this team.
Yeah, it's so hard to get young people like that, young men, to come out and compete every single day, and to expect them to be at their highest level, right? Like, that's the goal. That's what you're always going to strive for. There's so many good teams in this conference. It's tough to do, and so it's an accomplishment worth celebrating.
Look at the Farmers Union Insurance scoring recap. Nathan Hayes with a 34-yard touchdown run, capping off a 9-play, 70-yard drive that goes 3:17. And we saw it in our post-game show last week, the celebration with the Missouri Valley Conference Championship trophy. I know you were talking to me earlier. I had to share it twice. We won it once outright. There's something to be said about not sharing this with anybody either.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's the last thing you want to do. You'll take a conference championship any way it comes. But you have to share with another Dakota. It's just there's a pride thing that goes into it, and the fact that they were able to have it in the locker room, especially up there in Grand Forks, and then to come down here and I think again, they were expected to win this ball game, but I thought the response, especially early on in this game, was pretty impressive. The way that they came out and kind of handled their business.
Bison post-game live coming up, everybody, on WDAY Plus. We're told no Northern Iowa in the post-game press conference. We heard from Tim Polasek and the Bison players about today's win to get to 11-0 heading into the regular season finale next Saturday. Good tackle there on the play. Wrapped up on that. Wyatt Osterbauer in there from Buffalo, Minnesota. Like his young potential there at the defensive end spot. Redshirt freshman. Likely the final play here in the game. Back to Collins. He gets a first down. They'll stop the clock just to set the change. He gets out to the 34 as Archibald makes the play. The final seconds of this one are going to tick off, and North Dakota State has completed an unbeaten Missouri Valley Football Conference schedule as the Bison will head into the regular season finale 11-0.
Did what they needed to do, right? They took care of business. I know there was some moments in there. Maybe it wasn't as perfect as you wanted. We talked about it. Northern Iowa had only given up 35 points. That was the most they'd given up coming into this ball game. You know, I think if you expected this to be a 40, 50 point margin of victory, maybe that wasn't realistic. And for them to come out and still win at 48-16, do some of the things they did, some big time plays from guys like Bryce Lance right there. I mean, I think they corrected a lot of things that they wanted. I think you can check the box too. They improved. And obviously they finished the regular season undefeated in the Valley.
Bryce goes for 8 for 131, and Sam is standing by with Tim Polasek.
Thanks, Tom. Coach, congratulations, picking up another win. What do you take away from that second half?
A bunch of young guys that I'm really curious, and I'm super excited to watch it. I mean, we had a lot of freshmen out there, a lot of redshirt freshmen playing for the first time. So, you know, that compromises your ability to be really clean. But I thought Nathan Hayes looked really good. Some really good reads. In fact, I think he was 5 for 5 on where the ball should be going. I'm excited about that.
How crucial is it to get him some important reps in game situations?
It's unbelievably important, and it's important that in today's game, and we just had a good conversation, myself and Coach Steppes, you got to move the program forward, and that takes playing the full 60 and getting some guys some opportunities. So we're really pleased with that. A little bit choppy in the run game tonight. You know, I know the rushing yards are going to say otherwise, but we got to be better still in the run game.
Not only do you guys get the conference championship last week, but this week you go unbeaten in conference play. What does that say about this group?
Well, I think it's only been 4 times we've done it in the history or something, and these guys have always come out of the tunnel ready to go, and they've responded with great practices. You know, next week's going to be fun because we get to talk about, let's slam the door on the #1 seed and let's stay in Fargo throughout, and I'm excited about that. But my hat goes off to leadership.
Coach, congratulations.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Guys, back to you.
Thanks, Tim, Sam, for that interview with Tim. And, you know, I know we visited before the game about that, about wanting to make sure there was no doubt about who's going to be the #1 seed. And obviously they can do that with a win next week.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was, I think it would have been easy for this team. You know, we talked about, too, when you turn into November, and I got 3 of 4 at home. You never leave the state of North Dakota, but easy to kind of start to relax, especially in this ball game. And they didn't do that. And now they are on the doorstep. I think it would be, I don't even want to go there, but I think it would be interesting if they somehow did lose to St. Thomas. Their resume is off the charts right now with the amount of ranked wins that they have. But yes, obviously you win next week. You're not leaving Fargo until either the season's over or you're in Nashville.
Sam is standing by with the player of the game and Nathaniel Staling.
Thanks, Tom. Nathaniel Staling is our Nodak Insurance player of the game. Nathaniel, the last 2 games defensively has been really impressive. What is going so well for you guys?
Man, we're playing very well together. This group just keeps getting better and better every single game. We're a very cohesive unit, and I think we communicate very well. And we just got some talented players. And like I said, when talent works together, you know, the results always typically pretty good. So I'm just very excited to keep leading this group of men. Just continue to fight every day.
You got to see some new guys in, especially at the linebacker group. How cool was that to see in this game?
It's awesome. When we can do our job and then the score is up there a little bit, we can get those guys in. It truly is awesome. We can help coach those guys. It's fun to see them fly around. I remember being in that position not too long ago, and now I'm in the position where I can help coach and kind of help them out. But man, it's a blessing to be able to watch those guys go out there and grow. They grow every play. It's just unbelievable. So it's definitely amazing.
You get the conference championship last week. This week, you finish off the conference schedule going unbeaten. That hasn't been done since 2019. What does this say about that group?
I think this group, we're fighters. We're fighters for sure. We're not looking ahead. We're just going to continue to play our ball. Focus on right now, what we can do right now, how we can continue to improve. Those accolades and stuff, that just comes with it. But we're just excited about this team, and yeah.
Thanks, Nathaniel. Congratulations on this one. Guys, back to you.
Thanks, Sam. Just one quick word on what the Bison first-team defense has done in the last 2 games. They've given up 1 touchdown. That's that third-quarter touchdown the Bison backups were in for Northern Iowa. They've had 3 interceptions and I believe 6 sacks over the last 2 games with the first-team defense.
It's been great, and I would point to take away the rushing stats in this game because obviously things get skewed, but I thought they were dynamite in the run fits today. I thought for the most part, yeah, there was a couple times in the second half you were rotating some guys in, they were in and out, right, but like for the most part, they were on top of it. Stopping the run, remember as a player, that was always the first goal. Take away the run, and I thought they did that really well today. And going back to last week, they did a nice job of taking away Kaminsky in the pass game, especially after coming out of that Youngstown State game. I think they've responded really well.
All right, let's go through the scores of the day here, Kyle, as we wrap up Week 12. North Dakota gets an ultra-important 7th win. They win at Murray State, So they're 7-4, and they host South Dakota State next week.
Yeah, it's a biggie, and to be honest with you, I think they should be favored by at least 10, maybe 14 points in that ball game. I give South Dakota State a ton of credit. We'll get to their score. They fought in that ball game. UND's just different at home. They was a little clunky in this one. It was 9-7 at half, but they found a way.
That might be a win and in game. Whoever wins is in the tournament. The loser's out.
I agree. I don't know. South Dakota State's history, honestly, if I could see them getting in at 7-5, it wouldn't shock me. I don't think they should be. If they lose, I think they should be out. But again, if they win, if they go up at the Grand Forks and they win, they should absolutely win the tournament, and they will be.
How about that score? South Dakota, we saw them. They were left for dead when they left Fargo at the end of September. The Coyotes win in 5 overtimes over Southern Illinois, 53-51. Travis Johansson in his first year gets the Coyotes to 8-4.
It's unbelievable. Hats off to Travis Johansson. It would have been so easy for them to just cave in and say this isn't our year. I think they keep hearing me talk about how they're not a very good football team, and they keep proving me wrong over and over. So I give them a ton of credit for fighting, for battling. I thought Southern Illinois was a really good team when they were here in the Dome, and it just hasn't come out, or they just haven't found ways to win football games.
That's their 5th loss today. Illinois State, as Kyle mentioned, went up 35-0 on South Dakota State. They hang on and beat the Jackrabbits. SDSU now has lost 4 games in a row.
4 in a row. We don't know if their quarterback's coming back, and it's not just Chase Mason. They got multiple injuries. 28-0 at the end of the first quarter. That's going to be tough for them to go up into the Grand Forks and try and win with their season. I think, again, as we just talked about, I think their season on the line.
We'll save more of this for Bison postgame live. Youngstown State gets its 7th win. They are at Northern Iowa next week. Again, for likely a win-and-in scenario for the Penguins.
Yeah, and we just obviously saw Northern Iowa. I think they should be able to handle the business. This one was a little closer than maybe it should have been. I don't know if you want to give up 29. I'm not sold in Youngstown State's defense at all, but I am sold on Bo Brungard's ability to just outscore everyone because he has more times than not. He's able to do that.
All right, so the updated standings. Obviously, the Bison have wrapped it up unbeaten at 8-0. South Dakota is in 2nd place, and they're done. The Coyotes have their bye week, so they're in the clubhouse. Illinois State has a biggie next week at home with Southern Illinois, and then it's a jumble. I think there are 5 Valley teams postseason bound, though.
Yeah, I think you're right. It'll be interesting, as you mentioned, that one Illinois State and Southern Illinois. Southern Illinois at 6-5, probably done even if they win that ball game. And then you got South Dakota State and North Dakota. That one's going to be fun as well. There's a lot of teams right there in that middle to upper portion that are, I think, similar. But yeah, I keep coming back to South Dakota. They have made me eat my words. I will admit it. I was wrong.
You weren't the only one, though, buddy boy. You're not the only one.
Again, it was trust in your eyes. They just didn't see it here in the Dome, and they continue, I think, a little bit better. And what are they doing, Dom? Is they're winning close football games. That's what they continue to do.
A reminder, we're back with you for the final game of the regular season. Next Saturday, we're on the air at 10 a.m. with Bison Game Day, with St. Thomas here to take on North Dakota State in the regular season finale. Coverage at 2:20 with the kickoff just after 2:30. And, of course, we'll wrap it up with Bison post-game live. Final score in the game, North Dakota State 48, Northern Iowa 16, as the Bison complete an unbeaten Missouri Valley Football Conference season. Highlights and reaction are coming up on WDAY Sports with Kenzie Iserman at 6 o'clock. Don't forget, we've got Bison post-game live coming up in just a couple minutes on WDAY+. A shout out to our great crew. Fabulous job over the last 2 days, boys. For Sam Getzinger, Kyle Emanuel, our spotter, Grant Hubbard, I'm Dom Izzo. The Bison are 11-0 heading into the final game of the season as they're unbeaten in the Valley in 2025. Thanks for watching, everybody, and we'll see you next Saturday.
incredible performance by the defense, forcing the 6 punts. And did we have 2 takeaways or 3? Peter Hugo on the interception. Taylor Needy, it was 4th down, but I appreciate him going up and attacking the ball. And then Reese Kessel stays hot with his streak. So that was encouraging. I thought the guys came out ready to play. We were a little choppy offensively.